You found our show, so come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Doom, 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 doom. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Doom, 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 doom. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show. 'Cause it's for you and your babies.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whoop ass. And you
you
will
will
too
if you pass.
Pass.
Welcome. This is the How to Survive the Purge episode, and it just got real because Belay's power just went down. So hopefully he'll be able to join us in a minute. If it comes back up, it may go back out.
Folk trying to get at us.
Man. And if I had gone,
if we had gone, yeah,
gone to the studio, it wouldn't have been a show because the power would have been off. But you know, there's those who don't believe in spirit. Well, there's something guiding this happening because two of us didn't show up over there, and luckily we didn't. So we're about to get into it.
Yeah,
for those who don't know, I'm Balogun Ojetade, author, martial arts master, prepper, father of 9, husband, brother, son, all that good stuff. So that's me.
And greetings. I'm Amaniki, student of and assistant instructor of African martial arts, Kemetic Yoga Basu, mother of 1, and many, many other things.
Okay. So I will get back to y'all in just a second. I don't know if you can hear that bead. That's my hot water point. That's for my mushroom coffee.
Oh.
I'll be right back. Talk to him, Ominiki, and I will be right back with y'all.
I should have made myself some tea. Oh my goodness. Wow. I was not expecting to have to speak like this. I wonder if anyone has any news. Greetings, Black Timbo. If anyone can chime in in the chat with any news that you'd like to discuss. I know, of course, there was the big thing with AT&T. I think that was 2 days ago, where some of their service went down. And I think some other. I know I made a call to a friend during that time who doesn't have AT&T. And the call just cut off. Like, it didn't ring, it didn't go to voicemail or anything. So maybe it was a little bit bigger than, the information that we're being given. So there's that went on this week. I honestly, I've been kind of chilling out this week a little bit, so I don't tend to watch too much news. I do catch a few things online here and there. What can we talk about, family? We got the show on the Purge. We have been having a few meetings talking about our prep. That's something that we constantly emphasize here on the show. So, if you haven't in a while checked your bug out bag, your bug in bag, your get home bag, if you have one or, one of each, make sure that you're going in there, checking your supplies, make sure that, if you have food, which you should have some type of food supplies in there, make sure that those are still good. Make sure that, you check the expiration dates on anything that can expire in your bug out bags. Also, a really important thing, and it's something I'm really talking to myself with this one, make sure that you're getting, if it's possible in your area, and it's something I'm checking into, make sure that you can get shortwave radio classes, because the radios that we work with they're not easy. It's not like just a walkie-talkie when you were a kid where you just press the button on the side and it goes to, the other person. It takes a lot of programming for these radios. So if that's available in your area, and I'm sure it is in most areas, look into doing some shortwave radio classes.
And on that too, yeah, if you have a shortwave radio, so you can get inexpensive shortwave radios for like $20-$30. They're not going to be the best, but it's enough for you and your folks. It may probably give you like 2 mile, radius signal. Now,
Bob, I was going to say too, those classes help you to understand the radios better. So if there's a way to get better reception or something like that, you're going to have a better understanding of it if you become involved in, something where people are actually teaching you how to use it. So excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you, Bob.
Oh, no problem. I gotta get my notes. Excuse me. Anyway, but with that too, just know. So don't worry. Okay, I gotta be careful how I word this. I would have said, don't worry about the legalities of, because you can't. Well, one, you can't be playing on the damn shortwave radio, and you shouldn't. It's a tool for your survival, right? But don't get so much into, I can't show you how to use this thing because I can't legally teach you to use this because I can get in trouble. Shit fall down, really, that doesn't matter. People need to know how to use these.
Right.
So they can communicate with each other and teach them like any tool. If you teach firearms, you best teach them how to be responsible first. Teach them the responsibilities that could go with, so they're not playing on the phone. I mean, on the shortwave radio. This one dude, I wouldn't report him, but I have hooked up my mic to my computer and cussed him out. Every time he leaves, and I know where he lives. I see him when he leaves his house. He doesn't know that I'm watching. I see him when he comes back. I say, this fool, here you go. He gets on his shortwave radio. He's a trucker. And he said, something. I'm being careful what I say so he'll really know it's me, because I don't want him to know I'm watching his ad, but he'll probably figure it out anyway if he's watching. Some in the ATL. Some such in the ATL. Bye. But okay, I don't care. Except I'm writing. I'm listening to calming music as I write, and this shit comes through my speakers.
Right.
So I'm like, man, this been going on since we've been living over it. So one day I hooked up my mic to my computer that's in my room. I said, stop doing that. Yeah, who is this? Bye. He keeps saying that. I said, no, you bye. Get off the damn shortwave plane. I'm here in ATL. So. Because he don't know where I'm at. Because you can, shortwave radio, if you got the signal, you can go around the world. I was like, dude, you're so disturbing. This doesn't just go through shortwave radios. It goes through speakers that people have, car speakers, speakers on their computers. Stop it. You're just acting a fool. I'm so in the ATL. Bye. I'm going to keep doing. I said, man, shut the fuck up. Right? And so he was quiet for a while. That worked for about 2 days. I told my wife, finally, third day, here it is. So-and-so in the ATL, bye. I'm like, oh, man. So he just did it before I got on here. So I know he'll announce, too, that he's leaving out. That's another thing. Do not announce in your movements. He's like, I'm leaving the ATL. So I know he's going on a run.
Right.
He's out the window. His truck is leaving to go on a run.
So
in 3 days he'll be back in the ATL. He just announces all the time.
Yeah, that's so silly. That's like the people they got to show you their plate every time they go eat something or wherever they are traveling to. They got to take all these pictures. I mean, it's okay to share some of that stuff, especially after you've already done it, not while you're in the middle of doing it.
One of my students,
your movements.
one of my students posted a picture in this hotel, him and his wife. He got money spread on the table, trying to look like he flossing. And takes the picture. And
I don't think they say flossing anymore, Baba.
Well, I do. So he it's wishful thinking. I wish I had two so I could be flossing.
Right.
So he takes the picture, and I'm looking outside, and I see exactly where it's at. I hit him up and said, "Take that picture down now. You're at so and so on the so and so floor." What? How you know? Because the picture tells the story, dude. I said, when I look at pictures a lot of time, I'm not looking at what's in the foreground. I'm looking at what's in the background. Mm-hmm. It's not just me.
Right.
Many people like me, so don't think it's something unique. I said, and you know who? Some of the people who do that? Thieves. Mm-hmm. Abductors.
Right.
Dude, take that shit down now. He took it down, you know. So don't expose yourself. Always be thinking, and that's part of your survival too. Be aware of your surroundings. When you're taking a selfie, be aware of what's around you and what you're taking a picture of. Look at that, study that before you take that picture. What's in that background? Did you just take a picture of your car in the background and it has your license plate?
Right.
Then you take another picture of you standing with your car so they know for sure, you confirmed that that's your car. Now they pull your plate, they got your address.
Right.
Come on, man. Just be careful out here.
Yeah, Bo. Absolutely.
Always be thinking. Always be thinking. If you're saying always be thinking, you're in bad shape. Because you should always be thinking. Yes. Yeah. And I tell all my folks, stay chiseled. Don't just be thinking, stay chiseled. Be tight on your thinking. Right? Be chiseled. Okay. Hard, tone, ready. You chisel. I'm gonna get my phone so I can look at the notes, and we're gonna get right into it. You got any news on me, Nikki?
No, I just talked about the AT&T thing a little bit while you were off getting your coffee.
Okay.
But you know, I don't have that much news on it. I just share from my personal perspective. I tried to call someone during that period of time that didn't have AT&T, and the line just clicked and it just kind of cut off. It didn't ring, it didn't go to the voicemail or anything. So personally, I think based on that maybe it was a little bit more widespread, but you know, I mean, it's not scientific. So maybe it wasn't, but
well, you know, I was paying attention to how people reacted, and a lot of people saying, you know, well, my phone was fine. They were getting defensive, also, right. Or saying, well, the Wi-Fi is up. That lets you know where their focus of what's important is at. Whether your phone or not was operable, many other people's were not, and that's a concern.
Right.
Not to be afraid, but it's a concern. Okay, so like I said, stay chiseled and keep your eyes open at least for a few days. Damn. Yeah, and just keep watch on things, okay?
And it's funny because I didn't connect it at the time. I think I was just kind of trying to vamp and, you know, talk about something while you weren't there. But the shortwave radio conversation is very important when it comes to, you know, what happened with AT&T, because you have to be able to get in contact with your people, especially the ones closest to you. You know, if a whole day goes by, or, you know, 5-6 hours go by and you can't get in contact with someone, like, you can automatically, you know, if you and your loved one know that, okay, if the phone's cut off, then we're switching to this automatically. You know, that can be part of your plan. It should be part of your plan. Right. So.
All right. So surviving the purge. In 2020, we had a situation that could have easily turned into the purge.
You're bomb.
Me and the family were talking about that today, about how we were in a survival situation. One of my daughters was saying people, doubt her when she talks about these things. I said, well, that means their eyes are closed because we just went through a global pandemic, and things were shut down, and people were panicking, buying 50 rolls of tissue and shit. So everything that we have been learning in class was happening.
Yeah, bro.
All of us, I was checking on everybody for the first week or two. Make sure everybody good. Everybody had their stuff. We were good. Everybody was good. Everybody had their water, their supplies. If the power went down, because people were dying left and right, if the power people died, then there was rumors. My mother called me. She said, "Man, Doris told me in Chicago, people just dropping dead in the streets." I said, "Mom, that doesn't make mathematics sense, because we got so many people in Chicago. If that had happened, other folks would have been calling.
Right.
Man, people were dying in the streets, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I don't believe that. Now, I don't trust the news to report it if it happened, but I don't think people dying like that in the streets. But my mother listens. I remember they told her, my mother's from Yazoo, Mississippi, but she lived in Chicago long. She's lived in Chicago longer than Yazoo. And she was living here when my cousin told her that, because my cousin had heard from somebody. I said, Doris ain't out in them streets.
All right.
She only a little bit younger than my mom. I said, she ain't out in them streets. Somebody telling her that. I said, y'all stop listening to rumors, y'all. And people ain't just dropping dead in the streets like goddamn we're in a war zone, but it could get to that point.
For sure, definitely.
So now, she's in Chicago. When I think about prepping, so long time ago, in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, I got my mother in the mindset of preparing. So Chicago has these big pantries, like pantries the size of a small bedroom in some cases. And that's how ours was. It'd be an apartment, and you got a giant pantry, one bedroom apartment with a giant. And so I said, this pantry needs to be filled, Ma. Needs to be filled. She said, what do you mean? I said, all these shelves need to be filled with food and water. Put the water on the floor, food, that non-perishable food, that in case something goes down, electricity or whatever. And after having about an hour talk with her, next thing I know, started getting stuff, and the place was supplied. Her place was better supplied than mine. So I know if I can't be there, at least I know that they're able to survive. Right?
Yeah, bro.
So if you have the mindset, but you're not working with your family on that's not there, then please do so. Now, we're talking about how to survive the purge. The idea is the untrained. You can survive. And we're going to deal with it. Because in the movie The Purge, the people most of them are not preppers.
No.
They're just regular folk who were forced to now have to survive. Because you only got one other option besides surviving. And that option sucks. Dying. Dying doesn't suck, but dying before your time.
And your entire family dying when
Right.
you could have done something and helped them. Bob, I wanted to say greetings to Emmanuel Briggs, I Manifesto, and Eugene Mason. For some reason, I only saw Black Timbo before, but peace, brothers.
Everybody,
Thank you.
JD, Eugene Mason, Warren Register, 40J Blaze,
Okay. You know what? I think I'm
Emmanuel
on the
Blaze.
wrong comment stream. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Peace,
You can use the two-way
Blaze.
radio to hear what's going in the hotel you're staying at. Yes. So what Belay is talking about, two-way radio and shortwave radio are different. So a two-way radio, what you call a walkie-talkie, that's good. Like when me and Belay were in Virginia, we weren't using the phones. We were talking through those. Those were quicker. It's quicker to use that. The phones could have gone down. We kept them charged. We kept them on us. Anything happens, we can communicate that way. Right. They can jam the phone signal. It's harder to jam the two-way radio because it's got multiple channels you can go to. And I may say, go to channel 4. That may actually mean channel 1. Okay. So they don't know where we would be at. So we would use those to good effect. Okay. So get yourself two-way radios, get yourself short wave radio. That's what they call ham radio.
Yeah, bro.
Get those as well. Definitely get those. If you don't get the short wave, get those. Because you can use those like a two-way radio too. I can talk to you, for a further distance too. Okay. But get both. If you can only afford, you don't have the money to. You said, man, I don't even have $40 to get a good, decent radio. Then get yourself walkie-talkie. You can get them mugs for $10 for a pair. All right, so the state of continuing and fighting to live in spite of difficulties and obstacles defines survival. People who are willing to survive and overcome obstacles are not afraid to do what it takes in order to live. Okay. People who are willing to survive, and overcome obstacles are not afraid to do what it takes in order to live. And we're going to deal with morality in a bit. In the Purge franchise, that includes 5 films: The Purge Anarchy, The Purge Election Year, The First Purge, and The Forever Purge. And a television series, which lasted for 2 seasons. The U.S. government creates a 12-hour period in which all criminal activity is legal, including rape and murder. Now, they always talk about, when they say including murder in the movies, because they're going to do a lot of killing in those movies. Whenever I watch that, I'm thinking all crimes, that includes rape. To me, that's more horrific
Yeah,
than murder.
Because you have a living victim.
You killed him. Yeah, rape, you left the person to live with the trauma, the damage. Okay. That to me is worse. Or, rape, then you murder them. That's just, that's torture, is bad. So anyway, in order to reduce the population, that was the whole thing, and make life better for the rich. That's very realistic to me, because that's what they seek anyway, to reduce the population and make life better for the rich. And reducing the population makes life better for the rich. Less people, more resources, not for everybody, but for them.
Right.
In the first film, The Purge, James Sandon and his family are faced with a gang of masked, heavily armed intruders trying to break in their home and murder them all. They want this black man I want to tell the whole thing, but they want this black man who is in their home for a certain reason. Okay. Despite their lack of ability and skill to survive and overcome, the murderers, they all were willing to defend. So despite their lack of training, they had no training at all, really no ability either, to survive and overcome the murderers. They all were willing to defend and protect each other from the corruption of the others. And when I say corruption of the others, not just the murderers, I'm being very careful. And you watch when you watch those films, they're not realistic, but you can get certain things from them. So keep your eyes on your neighbors, everything. But you want to work with your neighbors too, but stay vigilant. Keep your eyes always open, your ears always open. And do like my mother always taught me. Every shut eye ain't sleep, every goodbye ain't gone.
Yeah, bro.
So the Stanley family, we're gonna fight, the father says, showing that despite having no training, he is ready for what is to come. He didn't say, oh shit, we're screwed. We got no training and no tools. He said, we're gonna fight. You gotta have that, in you. We gotta fight. We're going to fight. Not knowing a thing about how to fight, the Sandins were able to survive the purge and make it through the night. So this episode is for the Sandins out there. Okay. Folks who suddenly wake up one morning and realize they have to be their own security force. People who bought guns and ammo for self-defense but have no clue about tactical stuff. Now, normally, we on you about that. But today, we're here to tell you you can survive. Not to be judgmental. Not today. To let you know you can survive. Okay? So this is for those you wake up and say, damn, I got to secure the family. But you got no training. Well, that's sad. But it's a reality that can take place, right? This is for people who bought guns and ammo for self-defense but have no clue about tactical stuff. That's most people in Atlanta. Because you can easily get guns in Atlanta and ammunition, but most people don't know anything about how to use them tactically. They just know if they go to a range, they know how to shoot on a range. That's not tactical at all. Don't fool yourself. You're a liar if you're teaching people that too. Go to the range and get accurate, but then you got to get tactical. How to use it. Intelligence is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in the fruit salad. So you got to be intelligent and wise. You got to have knowledge and you got to know how to use that knowledge.
Application.
This is also for people with some tactical training and experience, but haven't thought about how to secure their family or their neighborhood during civil unrest. This is a lot of preppers. They think about their family. Well, they think about themselves. A lot of them. They ain't think about their family other than their immediate family. If some, family living with them. But not extended family, like I talked about my mother, giving her information. And even tried to give, in honor of my daughters by her, I tried to give information to my ex-wife on how to survive. And had even talked to my wife, if things fall and she can make it here, can she be here? She said yes, to survive. So, Omitola, if you're watching, you know the information that was sent to you, you know what you did with it, but you're still welcome to come here to survive. Okay. And hopefully afterward, you're able to thrive. Maybe find one of these brothers that's surviving with us and y'all able to thrive after. Okay. And you have to think that way. It's a big picture and it ain't about emotion. It's about motion. Okay. It's about living, moving forward. This is also the single mother who is living with a sick or very aged parent, a toddler, and a newborn baby. Or you out there. You sitting there, who knows? I was on a panel with Kalonji and this other brother who people just thought he was the shit, and I knew he was not. He was a show. So he's a shit show. I said, brothers and sisters, please don't be out here. I'm teaching, we're teaching on survival. I'm not wondering why he on there with us anyway. But I said, don't be out here showing yourself with firearms so you can be pegged. Talked about a brother that I think we all knew who come from the airport. I think one of the first people arrested for and was pegged as a black identity extremist. He had his firearm in his suitcase that was checked in, and when it came through, they were waiting on him. They got him. He said he thought that was illegal to be able to carry your firearm that way. You do have to proclaim it before you take I have a firearm. It has to be in a certain casing, stuff like that. And it wasn't. But damn, I mean, you arrest him, that's bad enough. But then you mark him as a black identity extremist. First person arrested for that. So I'm talking about that. Just be careful out here. This fool gets off the screen, goes and gets a rifle, and he's stroking it like it's his private parts. I love my gun. And you know who you are. It doesn't matter that you know I'm talking about you. I just won't say your name because I don't want to embarrass you. And some people believe in you. And he's an attorney, and he's an attorney for the people. So that'll be good. He's good in that way, but don't talk security. Stay in your lane, chump. I love my gun. My gun go with me everywhere. I love my gun. First, and he's an attorney, but he talks like that. I'm not exaggerating. I love my gun. That's cool if you talk like that, but you're an attorney. Up your game. Talk better than that. I don't want you representing me talking like that, but hey. And I also do his voice because I want you to know that's not Mawuli Davis, who is in Atlanta and an attorney for the people and is great. And originally from Chicago, so it makes him even greater. So, not Mawuli. And his wife went to Whitney Young, my high school. That make me even greater.
Oh, my goodness.
But no, so it's not him. It's not anybody from Atlanta, as a matter of fact. Don't be a clown. But it's for people like you, though, because I love you still. For you can take this in the private. People don't know that you're watching this. And you can take this and learn from this. So it's for all these people that are not prepared, those who are not pretending to be, and those pretending to be. So you can get yourself ready. But it's not for the prepper who is prepared and stuff. We have many episodes that you should be prepping. And if you're prepping, what you can do. This is for those who are not, which is most people. And the preppers can get some out of this too. But this is for you. And all you know who you are, okay? So it's for you all. You that aren't preppers, that have very little training, who live in an apartment in the bustling city, a city of more untrained, unprepared, starving, stressed out, desperate, and often simple people. You don't realize how much danger you're in if even just the power goes down. Belay had jumped in there for a second, he's gone because his power has gone down again. Right? Belay was at home one day. He hears somebody downstairs, somebody had came into his house. Do you remember this, Omaniki?
I do.
And he had to make the dude leave. He hit me up, what should I do? You need me to come over there? No, I got him. Should I do this? I said, handle him like this. He handled him like that and got him out of his house. And that dude didn't know what kind of danger he was in. You walk into the house and the man calling me, wondering should he defend his house? I mean, to the ultimate level, meaning you go to sleep and you don't get up, but he's legally within his boundaries to do that.
Yeah, boom.
But should you do that in this case? Okay, what's he sounding like? Don't let him see you. What's he sounding like? What's he doing? Is he trying to steal your stuff? He wasn't trying. So, okay, this is how we got to handle that. He obviously has some mental issues, but he doesn't seem violent. When you go down and talk to him, if he shows any violence, well, he put a ellipsis on his life. Ellipsis is 3 dots. If he gets violent, so he's aggressive, he got 3 dots. If he gets violent, period. Okay. If he's just talking erratically or whatever, question mark. They could turn into a period. They could turn into an ellipsis. Okay. You can turn to a comma, something else added to that sentence. Okay. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well.
So this is for people who are dealing, who will be dealing with other untrained, unskilled, but desperate people who are also trying to survive. And some people believe in surviving means taking your shit. Okay. Some people who train with me now used to believe that. I talked to a brother. I said, we're forming USPI class. I want you to be there. He said, oh, me and another brother who trains with me, we just going to go to Walmart and take all their shit. I said, well, other people going to be thinking like that too. It's going to be thousands of people, going to be mayhem. But then we'll just, go to the neighborhoods around there and take their shit. I said, that's not the way you want to be thinking. But I'll say this about the unprepared. If you're not prepared, if you don't have certain items, it can lead you to doing things you never thought you'd do. And it's going to lead you to it anyway to survive. It's going to lead you to do things you never thought you would do or have to do. But don't get, because I don't have a can of food, I'm going to eat this child across the street. Or I'm going to sell my child so I can get a goddamn can of food. Or I'm going to murder the people next door to me so I can get their cans of food. So at least let that motivate you to have some supplies so you can hold on to your goodness and your morality, if you want to say morality, for a while. Okay.
Yeah, well.
B-Lay's not here, so I'll deal with his too. First, and you can deal with the next B-Lay one when he comes.
Yeah, well.
First, let's familiarize you with a few terms. You may have heard some of these, maybe not. Okay. But during civil unrest, and that's what the purge is. It's civil unrest. Okay. That's exactly what it is. All of these are taking place. One, let me make sure, okay, we got enough. We passed the time to get in trouble. People say 8 minutes. You can't.
Oh, yeah, we're well past that.
Yeah. So, SHTF. Capital S, capital H, capital T, capital F. SHTF. That shit hits the fan. This is an emergency, any emergency event that deviates from our normal condition of so-called civil order beyond a limited disaster and implies a partial or total collapse of law and order. Okay? That's shit hits the fan. WROL, all caps. WROL. That's without rule of law. This is a situation where the only laws are kill or be killed and only the fittest survive. There's some people who live by that. If they determine you not fit, well, it's nothing for them to kill you. And they believe kill or be killed. If you're living in a place, I told the students before, some people were doubting COVID when it first started, right? I said, well, it doesn't matter whether it's real or not. If the majority of people believe it's real, we're going to move like it's real. We better. Okay.
Absolutely.
So if the majority of people are living by kill or be killed, only the fittest survive, you're going to be put in a position where you have to move in that way too. On that, I'll say quickly, get fit as you possibly can based on what your health is. Get as fit as you possibly can. Just last year, I had a big stomach, weighed a whole lot more. As skilled as I am, I'd have been a target for people because they think I'm a weak, out of shape old man. I don't want to be a target for folk. I just don't want to look threatening to folk, so they're not messing with me. I'm not gonna mess with them, but I don't want to be a person that they figure they're gonna victimize. And I'm forced to do what I got to do. And now I'm also exposed as who I am. I don't want to move that way. So without rule of law, kill or be killed, only the pit survive. This situation is essentially lawless and resembles war more than a disaster. The police will be some of the most dangerous criminals out there during a WROL situation, so don't expect to call on them for help. You say, why would the police be? For my police lovers and trusters. They're armed, they're trained, they're organized, and you're in a now situation where it's kill or be killed, only the fittest survive. They figure they're at the top of the food chain.
Right.
So, and this was done, you can look at Hurricane Katrina for a lot of this. Grid down is another term. That's a disaster situation where nationally, or at least across your region, the utility and communication systems collapse totally, along with the supply chain. Supply chain is what's bringing in food, what's bringing in water. They're supplying you with things with gas, with electricity, with whatever it is, right? That's the supply chain. It's going to be cut off.
And there was a taste of that during the COVID issue or epidemic or whatever. During COVID, there was a taste of the supply chain issues.
And people created their own supply chain with Amazon. That's when Amazon exploded. Because they gave people a sense of normalcy. I can still get stuff. I can still get stuff. That's why they call people who work at McDonald's an essential worker. Because it's to give the normalcy that stuff is still normal.
Right.
I told y'all though, we're living in a new normal now. There was a time when you try to go to these restaurants and be normal, and they weren't accepting cash. They forced you into a digital society.
Right. There's still some doing it.
Right. So, but grid down, communication systems, all that totally collapsed. There's no electricity, water, internet, phone signal, Wi-Fi, nor distribution of groceries, fuel, or other essentials. You must be self-sufficient to survive. The last thing that will probably go is the internet, because they learned from Egypt. They decided to turn the internet off on the people in Egypt, and people rose up. It was chaos. They know if you take the internet from people, internet is a true addiction. It's like taking heroin from a heroin addict. They're going to go through detox, and it's going to be violent. That's why phones may go down, but the internet's still going to be available to you some kind of way. That's why they started doing the fiber and all that shit, because the internet also lets them communicate, give you what they want to give you.
Very true.
Okay.
And you think about also children. I mean, there's a similar withdrawal with the children and probably adults too, and the ones who like to play the games all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like when there's been lots of accounts of children having their games taken away and having a violent reaction to that.
Shit, the phone. My wife was going to her shop, her business. She had to open up at 12. It was about 11:35. And she can't, 11:35, she can't make it there on time. She was on the way. I'm like, okay, I'm writing. I hear the door open. Who the hell? It's her. So what's going on? I left my phone. She opened up late, and everybody who knows her knows she love that business. Now, which is good. You're supposed to love your business. But she opened late because she loved that phone more. The only thing, and this is my wife, I'm being honest about it. That I love her, but the only thing she loved more than that phone is me, I think, and her children. I know. I know she loved me more than the phone, but that's that. She loved that phone. We have been made addicted to these things because they make life more convenient. The thing I like about the phone is I watch my daughter Yami be a researcher like I am. I love the research. She loves the research. I tell her something, I'm messing with her. She go right to that phone, studies it. Well, I know if that phone didn't exist, she would be like me, driving to or catching a bus to the library to research. That's the only thing I like about the phone. And if something happens, they can communicate with me and I can get to them. Other than that, anybody who knows me knows you try to call me on the phone, this shit better be important. I hate the phone.
I can attest to that.
And I'm gonna talk to you for maybe a minute or two. I'm trying to get off that phone as quickly as possible.
Right.
I can Bobalai call me. He said, "Hey, Bob, hey, what's going on? Everything all right?" That's first question, because otherwise, hey, you got a minute to talk? Well, I know he's want to talk, so okay, I love him. He said a minute, it's gonna be 10 minutes, but I'll give him 10 minutes. And at that 9th minute, I start shaking. Oh shit, I gotta get off this phone. Oh God, I gotta get off the phone. So for me, I don't care. My wife be like, "Babe, you got your phone?" I'm like, I don't care about that phone. We're going to dinner. I don't care if you got your phone, right? So if anybody needs to contact me, they can call you. I don't care. But that's me. I'm not judging on the phone. That's just me. I'm not big on phones, y'all. I really am not. It'd be easier, in fact, to contact me with a two-way radio than a phone. That's for real. I would have a two-way radio on me more than a phone. And when we were in Virginia, I left my phone in the hotel. I had the radio on me though. So hey. But anyway, Ominique, on you.
All right. The Purge is government-caused and sanctioned civil unrest. While The Purge is a fictional movie, civil unrest is very real. And here are the 4 types. First, there is unpeaceful protest. Small-scale acts of vandalism and violence, often done in retaliation, reaction, revenge, or to further antagonize. These events are characterized by yelling or chanting, trespassing across lawns and driveways, and banging on doors and windows. Sporadic vandalism occurs. Protesters typically move through the area once they feel they have made their point. The criminal violations are minor: obstructing traffic, jaywalking, perhaps trespassing, and usually misdemeanor vandalism. Incidents of explosives, arson, or major vandalism are mostly isolated incidents, often perpetrated by armed agents of the state. Incidents of explosives, arson, or major vandalism are mostly isolated incidents, often perpetuated by armed agents of the state.
And armed agents of the state are like police.
And those employed by
FBI, what you call them, for forest rangers.
Yeah, Bo.
Certain security guards.
Right. You should carry tools at all times during an unpeaceful protest, and at all times anyway, along with discrete tactical gear. If there is sufficient advance warning, such as social media posts before the event, or word that a crowd is moving toward the neighborhood, window covers should be installed. This shouldn't take more than a few minutes. This shouldn't take more than a few minutes to cover large front windows with plywood, tables, and other tough materials. Vehicles should be moved off the street and into a garage if possible, or behind the house, or in the driveway at a minimum. All doors, windows, and gates should be locked and barred. All windows should have their blinds, drapes, and curtains closed. No interior light should be visible from outside the house, but exterior light should be turned on. Fire extinguishers and other response equipment should be taken from storage and ready in case things escalate. Bug out bags should be ready to go. Move non-combatants to a safe part of the house. Turn on TV, video, or music to distract children or scared household members. If you have gas masks, get those out in the event police deploy tear gas. Do not engage the crowd unless absolutely necessary. No political back and forth, no taunting. With all windows closed and lights off, avoid even being seen by the crowd. Do not give them an audience. Remain inside. Turn on the sprinklers in your yard to take advantage of people not wanting to get wet, to force them away from that part of the house. This is not a situation to use force unless the mob escalates it into one. Lie low. Let them pass by. If a window is broken, monitor the room for anyone attempting entry or throwing an incendiary device. Handle such an escalation appropriately. If you are able, barricade the broken window and secure the room from the rest of the house.
Now, the second form of civil unrest is violent unrest. This is also known as a riot. Okay. Generally, in riots, businesses are the target for arson, theft, vandalism, and looting. Businesses are the target, generally. Physical violence is usually contained to the areas of unrest and usually between participants in the riots or those unlucky enough to be caught in them. Violence by gangs or mobs is common. And when I say gangs, I'm not talking about vice lords and disciples. I'm talking about gangs of white supremacists, gangs of, and it could be vice lords and disciples too, but I'm not just talking about them. It could be skinheads, Proud Boys, gangs or mobs is common. A mob is a gang that just happens to form caught up in the midst of that riot. And somebody throws something and the other people, they with it, and now you got a mob form, okay? They can form in different ways. Residential areas are left relatively unaffected, although racially or politically motivated riots could affect residential neighborhoods. Violence can be specifically targeted against political opponents, other races, other classes, etc. As violence spirals out of control, the atmosphere is used as a license to burn, loot, rob, beat, destroy, and so on, often with little relation to the initiating event. So a lot of that goes on, ain't got nothing. A lot of looting goes on, ain't got nothing to do. Looting went on during the George Floyd uprising. It had nothing to do with the uprising.
Peace, everybody.
Peace. And it really didn't have nothing to do with George Floyd dying.
Right.
The TV ain't got nothing to do with him dying.
Got something to do with poverty and anger.
Right, exactly. These riots usually continue for several days until the National Guard or weather changes, something like that, cause them to fizzle out. Okay. Monitor the extent and spread of the riots in case the situation intensifies or expands. Maintain a heightened level of awareness, and if you do not regularly carry a tool, do so. Okay. If you got to go out, do so. If the riots are in your part of the city or in your neighborhood, take more extensive measures to control access to the neighborhood. Start talking to your neighbors, if you haven't already done so, about creating a mutual assistance group to watch the neighborhood. And if there's interest, make it happen. We'll deal with that more later. I'm a little pessimistic about forming one, but we'll talk about it. Harden the front of your home. Well, at this time, harden the front of your home at this time and other weak areas. This is the time to accept inconveniences like boarding up the front windows. So in the first type, you can put tables up to the windows. You can put plywood, inside. Just make sure it's covered so broken glass ain't coming to your house if it should happen. This one, you can go outside because it could be likely if they come through and, nail up board in front of your windows and stuff like that. That's an inconvenience, but hey, board them up. You can put little slits in them so you can see out of those. That's it. Monitor the street. Go out front and look around. So you can go out, to the end of your driveway, look around, see what's going on. Particularly if you live on a busy street or if you live in an apartment, be careful. But you can go downstairs, look around, see what's happening. See what's happening within your apartment. You live on the 15th floor, you going downstairs, and you're hearing violence, go back inside. But when we live in an apartment, the last apartment we lived in, me and my wife, about 20, it was over 20 years ago. Ade, who's 21 now, was a baby. I would take him out. We would walk a mile to Blockbuster. For those younger, you may not know what Blockbuster is, a place where you could rent CDs and DVDs and you play them and you watch your TV shows and all that good stuff and the movies. So I would walk, and that was our thing. So, I'm walking with him. I go out the door, a dude standing right less than 10 feet from me, shaking. He ain't looking at me. He's looking down the hall. I look down the hall. It's a dude down there. He runs down. Pow, pow, pow. Shoots the dude 3 times. I go back inside the door. Close the door. Click, click. Killed him right in front of me.
That's not funny.
No, it was crazy. So I said, okay. So I'm looking out the peephole. I can't see him. So I open the door. He right there. I ain't called the police. Somebody else did. You say, but Dan, you let the man lay there. He was dead. Me getting him help wasn't going to help him because he was gone. I knew that. And I don't like the police because police could have came to my door and been questioning me if I did it. He in front of my door. I couldn't even open the whole door. But they ended up coming there, and they knocked on the door. I did not answer. I was acting like I wasn't home. And they took his ass away. I called the wife, told her, I'll meet her at the bus stop because she was coming home from where she worked. I'll meet you at the bus stop, and then I walked her back to the house. And the next day, we moved. First, she moved in with her mother, and then we got a house thanks to my sister, Lisa. She helped us get the house on Polar Rock.
I heard
Polar
that.
Rock in the hood. Shit, every 2 weeks, we would live in the Purge. Every 2 weeks, literally, like clockwork, somebody got murdered down the street, like on the next block or down our block. Somebody was murdered. I said, God damn, we got to get out of here. And then I'm going to I'm hearing the dog bark. I'm going to check on the dog. It's outside, it's out back. I'm going to check on her. I walk down the stairs. I'm getting like close to where the mailbox is to turn the corner to go around the back of the house. And these teenagers are there. At first, I'm not worried about the teenagers. And Mug pulls a pistol. The Purge. But unlike a person not trained who would have ran and he got shot because the enjoyment was on causing fear.
You just give up all your stuff, start just giving up stuff.
Well, that's okay if you give up your shit, except if the last shit you have.
That's what I'm saying.
But no, he just wanted fear. because I see him, and his friends laughing behind him. I went right to him. Fuck you gonna do with that gun? I came at him. They took off running. They're looking.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we want to put a disclaimer out and advise you not to do what Master.
No. I absolutely advise you to do that because
and as being a trained master.
No. Even the untrained. If you are 10 feet away from a person who has a pistol, you're more in danger than if you're 1 foot away.
This is true. I'm just saying, Bob, they might not want to walk up to him. What's up with you? They might not want to do what you're doing exactly.
No, just run at them. Because I mean, you can.
No, that's real talk. What he's saying is real.
But die by your goddamn turn, on your turn. So, shit, I'm telling you straight up. If you're untrained, well, run at him and try to grab his arm. Don't grab that gun and get shot. Try to shot in your hand. Try to grab that, because if you step back, you're done. The whole key is have a tool on you. Yeah. But I didn't. I'm coming out the house checking on the dog. Now, when I leave the house, goddamn, to walk my family out, I walk them out every time they leave the house. Or going to the mailbox now, I have a tool on.
But I gotta ask you something I gotta ask you this, and I don't want to start the flow, but for the person that's watching this and saying, hearing what you just said and said, man, I don't have that in me. They might not be saying out loud, but they ain't saying that to themselves. They know they don't have it in them. Uh-huh. What can they do to either get that in them or circumvent not having that in them?
Okay.
I want to say peace real quick to Donald James. Actually say found out about this channel when Kamara Franklin was a guest on Letter Hacks recently. Peace. We're glad you found us. Hope you share this and
yes.
And enjoy
and welcome, Brother Belay.
Yes. So the way you handle that, and I'm deadly serious about this.
Yeah, bro.
A brother who was teaching shooters, not shooters. Shooters are people who are shooters. They hit us. He was teaching people to shoot. And this person was flinching every time they shoot, looking away, scared of the gun. It's a man, but he was intimidated. Sends him to, what can I do? Same question. That's to send him to me.
Right.
I'll get him straight in one day. I got him straight in one day. And how I did that, I'll let you know. In that one day, I taught him energy drills where we're punching an inch away from each other's spaces. And we got harder and harder. I'm like, if you don't get this, I'm going to punch you in your goddamn face. And I was serious. Because I can set it up. So one of the students, I said, pow, hit him in the face, right? I know they could take it. I didn't hit him hard in the face, but still like, oh, shit, you scared. And after he got not scared of that, he know I can stop that shit. And he became my student after that. He went shooting. The next time he went shooting, no flinching, and he's hitting the target. You say, what? Because if I take the fear out of you of this is scarier, hand like this, than shooting something from a distance. I take the fear out of you of fighting up close, then the fear of shooting from a distance is much less. And that's how I did it. And I knew that from my former training. I was never afraid to shoot enough. But I've seen it done by professional killers.
Yeah, well.
Professional killers in this world is the United States Army. They've killed more people in more skilled ways than anybody in this world, other than maybe the people who have trained, who U.S. Special Ops has copied off of, and that's British SAS.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, that's the way you deal. So a person, that's how you get that fear out of them, by physically training.
That's what I knew, but I just want you to let
you gotta have that hands on. And that if you don't have that hands on, if you're scared of hands on, We're gonna be setting up a lot of stuff.
We talked about it in previous shows, how to develop what they call a killer instinct. So that's
right.
on previous shows. You can look that up. That's
We have a whole
exactly
episode on that. Yeah.
I want to say too, while you listening to the things that we saying, so because we may not go over certain things, but you're gonna have to use what we call common sense is a wrongly used term, but so Baba is talking about in this instance where you're gonna need to be putting up, you would want to be putting up, plywood and stuff like that. Well, you gotta have plywood to put plywood up.
Right.
So you got to decide how far you want to go, how early you want to prepare for things, how prepared you want to be, and
in this instance, we're talking to, the unprepared mainly. So if you don't have plywood, you have to turn certain things into plywood.
Right.
I told you, if you don't have certain things, it forces you to do things that you normally wouldn't. You may have to break a table and cover up your stuff.
So if you don't,
and you break the table, and then nobody comes to your neighborhood, you're like, shit, I broke my table. So
should have bought some
plywood and put it in your garage or something. So you ain't got to do that.
Okay? Side of the house, cover it up, whatever you got to do.
Right. Now, once again, if you do not regularly carry a tool during this violent unrest, do so. Okay. And this is when it's violent unrest. It gets worse now, but this is the second level only. So the first level that Ominiki dealt with, this is second level. It gets worse than this. If you work in affected areas, modify your work routine or work from home if possible. Don't go to work in areas with active riots. Don't do it. If the riots are in your part of the city or in your neighborhood, take more extensive measures to control access to the neighborhood. My wife, me, and Yemi, we were at a restaurant. Riots were going on. I'm seeing the movement of people like, what is going on with these people? I'm seeing people carry signs. I said, we need our food to go. People seeing how I'm moving. So the waitress asked, he said, what's going on? I said, there's a riot happening. You see the people, the way they moving? I said, it's about to happen. It's going to be bad in a minute. I'm getting out of here. And riots, they attack businesses. She said, I'm going with y'all. She clocked out. She leave. The manager, what's happening? So he asked me in front of, everybody. So I just told him what I told her. People started, I want my food to go. People in the restaurant leaving. Which way y'all going? The manager shut the place down. We're shutting down. They didn't know me. But they like, shit, the way he moving. And one thing, for those who are not black, that you need to know is, when a black person moving a certain way, other black people going to move. A black person running this way, black folk are not running that way to see what's happening.
No.
They running this way too.
And we'll ask questions when we get around the corner.
Right. So they said, well, which way you going? I said, I'm going out this way, out the side. So we go out, all of us go out the side. Said, I'm going to the right. They go to the right. I already knew we're going to the left. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, go. They going that way. Shit. I said, dear, come on. We go to the left. Because I know they're untrained. And they'll get, if shots start popping, they gonna get to hollering and shit. I got them as safely as I could. Now I'm getting my family the fuck out of here.
Yeah, bro.
Don't stay where there are riots at. And we got out of there, and then I'm teaching my wife right on the fly how to drive during the riot. That we have to be in the car for me to show you, and we may do an episode with that to get her how to drive and safely get out of there. She said, well, I want to see what's going on. No, you don't. Let's go.
Yeah, bro.
No. I'm curiosity right now. What you do right now, trust me, and we'll see this shit on the news. And sure enough, as we're leaving, woo, you're just hearing police cars coming. Now it's about to get bad. People had shut down the streets. They shut the police down. All of that, right? From moving, and it got ugly. It just didn't get violent. I was surprised. It just didn't get violent. So
I was gonna say, Baba, I worked actually at the hotel right next to the CNN Center when all of that unrest happened surrounding George Floyd. So I know firsthand the hotels that I still work at are basically located around that area, and they're becoming a lot more sensitive even when they hear that there might be a protest, even before the protest happens and they see that something happens. Sometimes they're starting to send people home. I've definitely been there when there was a protest planned that they just sent everyone home that morning. The protest was planned, way later on that day, and I mean, people just started leaving, even the guests. Like everyone just starts leaving the hotel way in advance. So they definitely are reading what's going on in the news.
Also,
catching up to what you should do, how you handle shit properly.
Right.
and also those are the upper echelon hotels that you're talking about. So not necessarily if you at the Hojo, they might not let you know nothing.
Well, you at a motel, you're screwed. The person working at the front desk motel may leave.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You're gonna be stuck. So I'm just saying.
But they do. They got access to the same news. Everyone has access to the same news. But what got me thinking about that was Baba saying, "Don't go to work in an area where there's going to be a riot." Like a lot of those businesses, you might have your store that you're trying to open or something, but because of what's been happening lately, I think a lot of those businesses are not even worried about trying to open or
insurance issues probably.
that too. Yeah, being sued. That's probably the motivation in the first place. Really,
it ain't your safety. It ain't your safety.
Right, exactly. Now start talking to your neighbors, if you hadn't already. And we talked about that before. If you haven't already, about creating a mutual assistance group, make it happen. I talked about that. Monitor the street. Okay, now if you are outside, so if you're not carrying the tool or wearing tactical gear, do so. Hold on one second. And if you are outside, people may balk at this, but trust me on it. If you are outside, you won't see me doing it, but I'm telling you, do it. Do it. Remember, this is for people that's not as trained, right? Wear a helmet and eye protection if possible. Because this takes away from a lot of you getting your head busted to the white meat. You don't know how to stop a stick from hitting you in the head, but that helmet can stop a stick from busting your head. Okay. If somebody hits you in the head with a bat and you got a helmet on, I'm not talking a cheap ass child police helmet. I'm talking a real
motorcycle helmet
or a motorcycle helmet. Your head not gonna get busted to white meat, but you still gonna get your shit rocked.
Right, you're gonna get your bell rung.
You may get, if you got a military helmet on, you're not gonna get knocked out, but you're gonna get disoriented. A regular stick or like a screamer stick or something, a plant dowel hitting you, it's not gonna hurt you. But if you don't have a helmet on, it's gonna hurt you.
Don't wait. If you don't have to, don't wait to feel it for the first time when it's real.
Right. And that's why I said helmet and eye protection. Stuff going on. You trying to bust through a wall, a piece of plywood or plastic in the eye.
Could take you out.
Get taken out of the game, and now I got blast in my eye. Oh, somebody kicking in the door. You are screwed.
That's real. I don't know if y'all know how real that is, but that's very real. As a person that had a tree service before, it don't take but a speck to take you out.
Right. So I'm not joking about that. Helmet and eye protection. It don't look cool, but if you're worried about looking cool during a situation of violent unrest, you got some other stuff to study on.
Hey, where them shades that the white folks wear with the rainbow like color visor look like go around like this right here?
That looking like Agent Zero and shit.
Yeah. Or the one Nicki Minaj where the long one look like she a welder, she welder something. Where that one?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Or wear a welder's helmet.
Bedazzle it. All right, okay.
And you can do that too. I wouldn't mind that. That would look like the Purge.
I'm kind of with that. I'm kind of with the dark.
Now, use weapon retention devices. You will see me do this, but that like a sling for a rifle. Because if you don't want to lose it. If you got to fight, tussle, if you got to run on that, when I talked about, survival of the fittest, well, start doing some walking right now, then add walking with a pack if you don't walk already. Walk with a pack on your back, fill it. Okay. Not with like tissue. I'm talking fill that shit so it weighs about 30 to 50 pounds.
Put a gallon of water in there. Put a couple gallons of water in there.
Right. Like that. And walk with that. Now, then start jogging. Okay. Light jogging without the pack at first, then add the pack. Light jogging. Now you add a rifle facsimile. Don't be running down the street with a rifle that could cause problems, especially with black folk.
Get you a stick.
A stick, right. And run with that and see what that feels like. Now you understand why you wear a sling. Okay. And trying to maintain that if somebody try to grab your bag and you're trying to fight and you have this in your hand, you're going to use it as a club. I knocked him out. And you look, oh shit, my rifle's bent. Have it on a sling. Working with something else, your hands or another tool, unless a rifle has to come into play. Okay. So now, barricade the street. Remember, you want to talk to your neighbors, because if you ain't talk to your neighbors, you start barricading the street, you're going to catch a problem. Them motherfuckers don't know nothing about barricading, but they're going to give you a problem. Now, barricade the street as the rioters approach, if they come into your street, and mount your guard. Depending on the exact nature of the mob, you may not erect barricades and may choose to simply maintain a visible presence, while armed to serve as a soft deterrent if more disruptive, aggressive measures are not called for. If you say, well, what do we barricade with? You can use old tires. If it's real serious, mud's coming for violence. They looking like from the movie The Warriors, baseball bats, and they got on brass knuckles and shit. You can put tires out and set them on fire. Just know that that's toxic, so y'all definitely want to stay back away from that. Get to a place where you can aim at them, but don't. The only danger of that is if you set it on fire and the wind blows and it blows on one of the houses. Now you got a whole nother level of problem. So think through what you're doing.
Right. Don't stack it too high, too close to the house.
Right. You can use barbed wire. You can use wire. You can use string as a barrier.
Chicken fence don't cost that much.
Slow them down. Right. Anything to slow them down. Cars going across. Okay. Two cars in front of that. You don't want it because they can just jump over the two cars. So you want them, now they got to get through that too. Right? Don't put them together. You put the cars together, they jump on it, they just run across it. Two cars, space, like 3-4 feet, and then two cars. Now they got to get past, and remember, especially if you have a neighborhood that's working together, people coming, they come up for violence, they jump on that car. Pow. They jump on that. Pow. Okay. Don't let them get past that last barrier. Now, so barricade your street. If they just come to talk some stuff, y'all can stand there. Don't get into political arguments. Just stand there with your tools. You ready? Okay.
Not all of them. Don't bring all of them.
No. You know, one tool that shows, one that's not showing. And everybody may not have firearms, so if they just got bats for a tool, they can have it on their shoulder. If, they just got a kitchen knife. Like, damn. That's why you want a group, too. You can say, hey, you need more than this kitchen knife.
You got to get the hell out of my group. I'm sorry. I don't know. Come to my group with a kitchen knife if you want to. Come to my door with no kitchen knife.
Make sure you get. This is when you make sure you got good kitchen knives too. We talked about that before.
If you're gonna have kitchen knives, make them worth your while now. You better have real good kitchen knives. You come to my house with
triple rivet, all of that.
They may come with 2 kitchen knives. You say, "Get away from my door," and then they tap you on your back. They didn't got past. You didn't even know it.
Now you can stay. That's what I was about to say before you went there. Now, if you can work them kitchen knives, that's the only exception. Right. You can work them kitchen knives, you come on in. When you work the kitchen, you come on in. I got something for you.
You know, person trying to get to the barrier, hit him, you know, with half looking, come on in. You know, in fact, you can be on the front line. Here's some kitchen knives. You can throw these kitchen knives too.
We got more for you.
So now, do not engage the crowd unless absolutely necessary. As Omaniki said, no political back and forth, no taunting them. Oh, pussy, punk ass mother. They'll kill you. I mean, don't do that. Don't challenge these mugs because they may take the challenge. And now, yeah, there you go.
Donald, I got you, Donald. I'm rolling.
There you go. Now, stand well back from the barricade and crowd if possible to avoid the appearance you are trying to go toe-to-toe with them. Also, you always have people ready to hit them from a distance, even if you're standing, if they see you. Let them always not see everybody. Okay. You don't want them to stop and heckle. You want them to keep it moving. Challenge rioters or strangers who are attempting to enter your neighborhood or street. Refrain from using force except in a direct attack on you or someone else. This includes aiming weapons at anyone. So if somebody aim a tool at you, well, it's on and popping. You don't wait and say, I'm gonna see if they really gonna. I don't think they really gonna use it. That is silly.
Baba.
So, perhaps have someone video record the mob as it passes so they know they are being filmed and seen.
Baba.
Yes.
I apologize. I don't mean to make you go back, but what do you mean by challenge rioters or strangers who are
don't challenge them? Don't challenge.
Do not challenge.
When I say okay, challenge rioters don't mean that means who are you?
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Now this 20 of them, you ain't got to challenge us. You know, like have a good day, keep it moving, right? And if they coming your way, no sir, you'll have a good day, keep it moving. Now, if it's 1 or 2, they straight off and they coming your way. Excuse me, who are you? Because it could be somebody like my cousin living here. Right. What's your cousin's name? Flodo the Flodo. I don't know Flodo the Flodo. You have to get with him later after this.
Hey, it's a bad word we don't like to use, but you're gonna have to police yourself, your family. You're gonna have to police your area.
Right, exactly. Now, nothing wrong with police. It's something wrong. It's something wrong with the police. But when you police something, there's something wrong with the police. Now, perhaps have someone on video. You want that to be seen. That's a visual deterrent.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. Should your barricade be breached, tactically withdraw to a second perimeter if possible, or back to your home. So they say, damn it, they push into. Tactically withdraw. I was doing security at Club Vision, VIP security. You think that's the safer security? Those are the biggest assholes.
With the money and the
had an encounter with y'all remember the rapper Loon, who's now Muslim and all that now, right?
That's funny, Muslim.
Muslim, right? So Loon comes to me. He says, "Hey, let me in." So when I'm on the street, you know, you let me in now. I see you on the street. You can hang with me. I said, first of all, I don't give a damn about hanging with celebrities. I'm a bouncer at Club Visions at the time, right? I said, I don't care about hanging with celebrities. Number 2, Loon, you ain't made an album goddamn 10 years. Nobody know you.
Oh, damn. Come on, damn.
He said, what? I bring all these people down on you. Like that. I didn't hit his ego. Well, I screwed up because I shouldn't have did that. Shouldn't have had that conversation. Once again, I'm the barricade. Me against 300 people out there. So, you know, I talked my way through. I said, y'all can't get to me. They said, you talk like you got a gun. You got a gun? I said, I'm the goddamn gun. And these are my missiles. Like that, right? They said, your mouth? I said, these, and these. I'm always armed and ready. And the motherfuckers fell for it because they lame. They lame. If I had done that in Chicago, they were like, well, nigga, let's go ahead. Let's see how the guns work for you.
They was supposed to laugh and be like, motherfucker, we gonna just
No, because I was praying they didn't.
They ain't have it in them.
But we got the guns too. But I know
they ain't have it in them.
Right. Especially the way Loon is hollering and shit. I said, oh no. So I bring these people down. Now if Pierre said to me, brother, you know, you trying to be funny and shit. I bring this whole crowd down on you. They'll kill you and everybody else up in here. And then we're gonna just tear the place down. I'd have been like, oh shit. But it wasn't that. It was all, so I knew. And so I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm always armed and ready. So I said, I'm going to sound good enough to them. They said, all right, you know, they calmed the hell down. And they said, this dude either crazy or he knows something. I'll probably a little both. But I'm like, no tools. We couldn't have no tools on us. Bouncers are in so much danger. Is that they know most people are untrained.
Right.
Now, bouncers at strip clubs are armed. So,
but still,
you may get popped. But a bouncer in these clubs, like Visions and all these little the party clubs and shit, they're not armed. I shouldn't even say it. I'm sorry, bouncers. I'm sorry, y'all. I shouldn't let people know, but they're not armed, y'all. They're usually martial artists, and they know how to work together. And they work swiftly and brutally, and so
that's what I was about to say.
I'm afraid of them
because they not armed. They ain't gonna play with you at all.
No, they're gonna be brutal now.
They're gonna come 5 or 6 to your pointing your finger like this. 5 or 6 going upside your head, so you better watch how you move.
I was 18 years old at a strip club. If somebody tells you that, if you can know what place they were in, what city, state they were in. DC allows you can get beer and wine. I guess it's still the same. When I was at Howard, you can get beer and wine at 18. So I had to wait till I was 18. I said, I'm going to a strip club. Went to a strip club. Me and one of my boys. Because you can get beer and wine. You can go in it was a stripper up there. I'm like, wow, I'm amazed. She was using the egg, 2 egg, and juggling with the egg. I'll just say that. So I'm like, woo, wow. So I go to get close. I'm looking like, wow. I give her some money. You know, I give her $1. I think I gave her $1.
Oh
she did it to me. It's like, this mug gonna give me $1. I didn't know you're supposed to tip strippers better than this. And this was back in the 80s. I give her $1. She puts one leg on my shoulder. Woo! I give her another $1. She puts another leg on my shoulder. I had never done anything early with a woman in my life at this point.
This was the first time?
Well, it wasn't fully me participating.
Well, where we going with the story? Okay.
She
really
and touches me with her privates on my face.
Oh!
I go, ah! First of all, even now that happened, I'd be discussing a goddamn stripper who I don't know her either. She puts it, I said, ah! And I threw her on the stage. Well, she on the stage anyway. Okay, I push her off of me. Like, and next thing I know, I'm like this, and I'm getting carried out the goddamn club. And they threw me on the floor, on the ground. Well, I knew I can handle these dudes, but maybe not the way they grabbed me, and they was. I was under control. Where I couldn't move my arms and shit, and I'm off the ground, my feet off the ground, and I was, skinny as shit. They threw me with so much force. I said, "Damn, I ain't no support. I'd have bust my shit." Right? My boy came out behind me. He said, "I figured, if you were stupid enough to come in there and try to fight, I didn't want to be there, so I'm leaving." And we both left. And I went to the dorm, went to the bathroom, washed my face, and was spitting. I think I was spitting for about 3 days.
Don't
So the lesson is,
don't let
Oh
strippers
my God.
put in your face.
bouncers are serious, and also tip better than that to a stripper.
Tip your bartender and your waiter.
Yeah, that's true. But
Please.
if a bartender put her privates in my face, I'm killing her because she ain't supposed to have her private nowhere near me.
That was all I could think to say. Every thought that was in my head just
But
left.
let you know how my parents are. So I tell
think
my
the
parents.
eggs part.
I tell my
Everything in my
I know
head
my father gonna laugh. I tell my mother thinking she'll give me some support. Like, mama, and she laughing just like this. Yeah. She laughing. I said, Ma, you laughing? Really? She puts a private in my face. I'm like, she don't understand. And she's just cracking up.
That's hilarious.
She's like, well, you had your face. They're paying to look close. And she said she probably thought she was doing you a favor. I'm like, So just to let y'all know, everything comes out here on Warrior Class. And it's all related. So if you are dealing with a mob,
it ties back. Yeah, you don't have to get a closer look.
Right, that strippers right there. Don't get a closer look.
Don't investigate.
All right. I said that earlier too. So I did like a white person running instead of running from the crowd. I went to get closer and I suffered for it too. All right. Now you can visualize.
Oh no, please. No.
So how disgusted I was is what I'm saying. Why it was so disgusting. But anyway.
Oh my God.
Now, the crowd may have forced its way down the street, but as the street is technically public property, supposedly still intact, do not try to actively stop them from coming down the street. If they force their way through the barricade, move to another area. If they start forcing their way towards your homes, well, defend your homes, right? If you live in an apartment, they start trying to force their way through the door to get into the apartments. Keep that closed and move to your apartment. If they're going to bust that door down, and then you got to do what you got to do to do not use force against a crowd that is not a threat to life. During violent unrest, law and order is probably, so-called law, is going to probably come back in effect. And them same people you busted up going to be having the police knock at your door.
Yeah, I mean,
you
see a crowd of people interpretive dancing through your neighborhood. Don't start shooting at them folks.
Right. Like,
you know
I was
saying? Don't do that.
They were crumping, now they limping. It's a whole different.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I was thinking too, though, Baba. Like we went over a couple of times. The
watch some crumples though. If they get too close to the house, because they could be crumping.
It's pretty crumping. It's pretty violent.
Okay.
But the political back and forth, like the taunting, like you were saying, I was thinking about the fact that can be used later to say that you provoke them.
Yes,
that so that's another reason to just keep silent on that, because you don't want someone to be able to come back later if, like you said, if law and order comes back into effect and say that you provoke them into doing something.
Shit. I'm about to give our home number, our home address for the other house. Mm-hmm. At the other house we have, when we were staying there, I'm hearing like people screaming and going off. And what the hell? I look outside. Look outside, and there are white supremacists with Nazi flags and the Celtic cross, which is the cross in the circle. They marching down the street, down our block, all black block. I said, what the hell? So I go back inside. I get ready. I tell the children, y'all, my wife was at her shop. I tell the children, y'all stay here. I had them be in a designated area, which I won't talk about on here. I go to the driveway, but close to the door because I got to get in the house quickly. And I got one of my tools. I got a couple on, but they see the rifle. The Muds look. They keep on marching. They stopped at a couple of houses and they cursing that folk. They see me, they keep on marching. I ain't say nothing. People yelling at them, goddamn, you old wicked ass cracker, racist bastard. They going off with them back and forth. I'm just, as long as you don't come up in there. If you come in this driveway, I'm tearing you up. And my look was just neutral. I'm gonna tear them up if they come up in there though.
I'm glad. Real quick, I'm glad Doc Peggins mentioned some piece. Doc, when we were talking about running, one of the things I always tell people who really get serious about training and stuff like that is, ideally, you want to be able to run a few miles,
yes,
and then be able to defend yourself to the fullest.
Yes.
After that, that's when you want to be. Because think about how situations go. You may have to run for your life, and then what if you caught all of a sudden?
You want to train too. So you want to run. Start off running a mile, and then do some. What we would do is pummel with another person.
Right.
Then you can go 2 miles, increase however you're going to do. But also do short bursts at full speed, and then you pummeling or energy drilling or whatever it is. Because you may have to do both.
And that right there is that requires a different set of lungs. Like they say, push-ups versus benching, different muscles in your chest.
And so you run 2 miles, that's what they call short twitch muscles. Or I'm not sure. Let me see. If you run short distances, it's fast twitch muscles. And then if you run longer distances, it's long fast twitch, and then long twitch or slow twitch muscles, which is your bigger muscles. Right. And it's different muscles that will take place that I use. Different levels of endurance. So when you're running in the military, endurance is more important than strength. Okay. So, and in your life, it should be too. You want somebody that can do a 20-mile route march, or can run 5 miles a day at least. And you can train that. You can run 5 miles in sand, then move to 5 miles in wet sand. So 5 miles on ground becomes easy. Okay. If you don't have access to wet sand, like we're in Atlanta, it's dry dock, right? We don't have no. You can run in dirt. And a lot of times it's better for your legs anyway than running on hard ground.
Yeah, Bo, absolutely.
And we do have a whole lot of nature trails and things of that nature.
Right.
So you can get to
here we have a lot of nature trails for bikes and running.
Yeah, so if you committed to getting in some sand and dirt, you can find it.
Definitely. Right. And there's a lot of like in the Atlanta area here, there's a few different mountain range, small mountain type ranges and stuff like that. There's a lot of dirt paths and that kind of thing around there to run around.
You can climb Stone Mountain. For some people, that's a rite of passage. It's really not a big mountain, but
it's not. No.
If you ain't done no exercise, shit, that's great.
And I can tell you, my mother did a few years ago. She was doing boot camp. She's done a lot of different get in shape type of things, and she was in her she was in her late 50s, and she was climbing Stone Mountain multiple times a day.
Oh, cool.
2-3 times a day. Yeah. So it's definitely doable, and it will get you into shape, pretty quickly. And the kind of shape that you really need to be in.
Right. You want to have functional strength and you want to have endurance all around. So remember, don't use force against a crowd that's not a threat to your life. But the opposite applies. If they're a threat to your life, don't hesitate. Okay. If you should be threatened with violence or objects are being thrown, go inside and lock down. So somebody, I'll beat your ass. Don't do the show me. Go inside and lock down. Because it's a riot. You don't want to be swarmed by a group. and you say, well, I got a group with me. You don't want to put that group in danger or rely on them really being for the shits. Get inside and lock down. Be alert for persons trying to infiltrate your property at unobserved locations. And if they're infiltrating your property, stop them. Saying that plain and simple, whatever that means to you. Okay. If the rioters attempt to kill or seriously wound someone, respond appropriately to the persons presenting the threat. Respond appropriately. Now, 2 people have broken off. The other people, they still crumping. They crumping. But these people, they kicking in your door and trying to kill you or kill a neighbor or whatever. Deal with them appropriately. Don't throw a motherfucking bomb into the crowd of crumpers.
Right.
Like it's right as more violent people.
Look, Emmanuel Briggs asked about aggressive twerking.
Now, well, it depends on what she looked like. If she aggressively twerking and she looks nice, then just let her go ahead and finish.
What kind of shoes to run in is a good question. And thank you, Peace the Team.
Great segue.
Peace the Team Orca. Thank you for
thank you for the donation.
Yes. Now, if you are violently overrun, we're talking about shoes. Use non-lethal tactics to disperse the crowd. When I say violently over, I'm talking about they like trying to like punch us in the head, kick us. I ain't talking about they violently overrun and they got rifles raised. And this is more for those with some training. Use non-lethal tactics to disperse the crowd and or create some space for you and your team to retreat into a home. Otherwise, only ever use force against specific persons when justified, not generally against the crowd. I thought don't throw the bomb into the crowd. If the crowd is violently overrunning you, when I say the crowd, the majority of them, and they're being violent, well, don't get your head busted to white meat. Don't get a nose busted or your lip split. Crowd of 100. It looks to me like 50 coming at me. B-Lay said, I'm throwing a grenade. I'm running. You hit him with the grenade. Okay, it's okay because it was 50. That's half the group. If we find out it was only 5 and you don't see that well, we don't feel bad about it. You thought it was 50.
Right.
I'm serious about that. I mean, shit. Protect your people.
I feel bad if I ain't got no more grenades.
Well, if you only have one and you throw and you roasted 5 folk, I'm
gonna feel bad then.
Yeah, you're gonna feel bad then. That's terrible, y'all. We're playing. We're playing, kind of. All right. B-Lay, it's on you.
Okay. And just to let y'all know, there is a book that Baba wrote that you can get that can help you through this situation. Not just one, I believe there's 2, 3, maybe 3 books.
3.
So you got the USPI manual, I think. You got Surviving the Urban Apocalypse.
1 and 2.
Confession. 3.
Book 1 and 2.
Book 1 and 2. Okay. So yeah. So that will tell like
well, and you got Malik.
Confession. That's what I was about to say. That was my 3rd one.
That's fiction, but within that fiction, I'm teaching survival.
So questions about how much ammo should you keep at your home and on the go? I don't know how big is your house?
And what kind of tool do you, well, we don't want you to say what kind of tool you have here. Let me say this.
So it's going to be based on some things is what we tell. So
if I had one tool, I'll just say it like this. If I had one tool, and I may not have no tools, or I may have many. Okay. I'm talking firearm. I may not have no firearms, I may have many, but I'm saying if I had one, let's say I had an AR-15 that takes .223 ammo. Okay. You may have one that takes 5.56. If you don't know what that means, like the old boy say, look it up. Look it up. I have an AR-15, and AR does not mean assault rifle. It means armor-light rifle. Don't get fooled into people being emotional talking shit and they don't know what they're talking about. AR does not mean assault rifle, just so you know. And it's a semi-automatic rifle. But I have an AR-15 that takes .223. Let's say that. And I have a magazine that holds 20 rounds.
I think that's a 2223 right there, ain't it? I just found this outside. I don't know what
30-06 look like. I can't tell. Look in the back.
I think that's the 30 right there. That's the 30.
Okay, 30 out. Okay, yeah, that's 30-06. Damn. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I just found these outside.
223. It looks okay. Maybe well, just so you know, mine is 5.56. Okay, so I don't.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Just so okay. So anyway, let's say I got 223. Takes 20 rounds. Multiply that by 10 to be comfortable. So you want 200 rounds.
Yeah, bro.
10 magazines. They're not clips. They're magazines. 10 magazine. Load them up. That's 20. Okay. Now you think about that for what I was dealing with. Violent uprising, you're probably violent unrest, you're probably not going to get into any engagement where you're firing your firearm. Probably not. It could happen. So be prepared. What we're about to start talking about for these last two, you may want more than that.
Yeah, bro. Here we go. Okay. I was trying to see, Bob. You might be right about this. This is a third.
But do what you can afford. Do what you can afford. Because I won't tell you how much ammo I have, but I have a whole lot more than that.
And when he says do what you can afford, you got to be honest with yourself too now. You got to look around. You got to look at your closet. Maybe I don't look at what you're driving, look at your phone.
I mean, hell, if you buying cigarettes every week,
boy,
that may be a habit you want to take control of. My mother used to smoke 4 packs a day. That's a lot of money.
Now, definitely.
So you could have bought so much ammo if you
at the same time
put it down. And on that, excuse me, but on that too, I also have stocked alcohol. I'm not an alcoholic.
I know that's what you're getting at. So you're saying what I was going to say. Go ahead with it.
So you can stock some marijuana. You can stock alcohol. You can stock, different things. Candy, because
I'm gonna have Newports. I'm gonna have Newports for you.
And if I say to you, damn, okay, you got a magazine of 223s. My boy needs a magazine of 223s. Hey, I got this pint of rum with that magazine. I need more than that. Well, I got this fifth of rum. But you know what? I can give you 3/5 of rum for that whole rifle. You say, damn, you working on the weakness of the person because they're alcoholic? Goddamn right.
I'm gonna
and
have
there are other people who will be even crueler than that. Yeah, so, and I only do that if I have to. My belay down to one magazine, or belay's tool got lost as we were running. Goddamn, I got to get belay another rifle. I'll do it. I'll get you another rifle. You're gonna have to replenish my alcohol because I'm about to give up these 3/5.
Right.
Alcoholic Joe, who I know also got firearms. Yeah. I get Alcoholic Joe's AR-15. Say, damn, that's cold. But it's cold that shit fell down and Joe didn't get control of himself.
What's cold is when Baba give me the AR-15, I go back, get Joe, and get the rest of the shit. That's cold. So you don't know what coal is. You don't know what coal is.
So the world, I'm gonna use that as an example. You know,
Joking.
hopefully shit like that don't happen.
Yeah, but
the world is going to get nasty. And when you listen to Belay with this one here, this short term near WROL, near rule, near without rule of law, short term. But it still gets nasty.
Yeah, well.
When we talk about survival of the fit, get yourself as fit as you can. Any addictions you have, start working on it. I'm serious from brother to brother, brother to sister, talking to you, keeping it 100. You got to try at least to work on that shit because your weakness, whatever it is, we all got weaknesses. But if you're addicted to some substance, whether it's candy to alcohol to heroin, you have endangered your family and the whole group because you'll do things to get that shit.
Right.
You ain't doing it in a month. You're suffering. All you thinking all day. You ain't thinking about protecting. You thinking about, goddamn, I got to get this alcohol. And then somebody comes along with it and says, I got a fifth of gin because they've been studying you. You said, shit, what I got to do? Just let us in the door, man. You know, no big thing. Just leave the door open. I mean, shit, we can get killed coming in there, but that ain't your problem. Just leave the door open. We ain't gonna kill nobody. We just want to get some shit and get out. You say, well, leave the door open. Okay, and you got that, and then they come in and kill everybody, including you, and then take their shit back.
I'm gonna keep it real, but I'm gonna keep it real. Well, not real, but I'm gonna keep it as real. If I'm addicted to licorice, right now, as we speak, I say right now, I got a licorice addiction. Right now, I'm going to make two decisions. I'm going to either try to get off of licorice because I know I just watched this show, or I'm doing the show right now and I'm like, damn, Baba, right? I'm addicted to licorice. I got to stop. I'm going to either do two things. I'm going to get off the licorice, or I'm going to have so much motherfucking licorice when time comes. Licorice dispensers. Like they had them beer dispensers, I'm going to have a licorice dispenser on my helmet. And then when shit breaking down, I'm going to be, it's a different reality. So I'm going to be like, look, I got to get off this motherfucking licorice. I ain't going to have it forever. And it's going to be more serious.
You'll be able to because you'll have some.
Right. Yeah. But it'll be more serious because the shit has already hit the fan. I'll be able to get off of it.
Motivated. Yeah.
We had a camp. I tell you all this. I said to them, I played many characters. One of the characters I played, he had an addiction to Swedish fish candy. I said, look, go get me some Swedish fish. And I'm going to do this. They go to the store, run to the store, get some Swedish fish. They asking people at the store, where's the fish counter? Because
I forgot about that.
They thought I was talking about fish.
I didn't know what Swedish fish was.
So no common terms.
So make sure, too, when you running off to do something or somebody sends you on a mission, get clear communication and understanding. They say, all right, Swedish fish, they left out. And I said to myself, somebody gonna come back with some fish.
Almost.
And it almost happened. So just know. So imagine if I'm a real person and I'm just a cruel person. I need my Swedish fish. And they come back with fish. Everybody could die. So there's also the danger of that if you're feeding somebody's addiction because you want something, know that that's also a risk.
Dangerous. I always think of the guy back in my other life when I was about 18 years old and crack cocaine was out. I'll never forget what made me stop selling crack is a crackhead by the name of Bug. And Bug used to always be in where we used to call it the hole where we'd be at. He used to always be down in the hole beside us trying to get something for $5 or whatever. I'd be like, but I ain't got no $5. He walked away and he came back late that night. And Bud, he was just standing there. And he ain't sitting there. And he walked over there to me and said, man, you don't know what go through my mind when you tell me no.
Yeah.
And that's all when she said that, I thought it just weighed on me for a minute. I was like, man, how many motherfuckers want to hurt you for not giving them something for $5?
So be
It
ready.
ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It wasn't worth it for me anyway.
Always be ready. Okay.
All right. So here we go. This short term near WROL. This is widespread loss of civil order. What happened after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans is a prime example. Law and order totally collapsed. Police, firefighters, and EMTs deserted the city, and government was rendered impotent. For weeks, citizens were on their own in the city, filled with desperate predators. This was the Purge in real time. If you don't remember, there's still videos out in real life. During the short term near WRL, certain harsh measurements, can we call that a roll? Certain harsh measurements.
You call it a W roll, yeah.
A W roll. Certain harsh measurements will have to be taken. These events could be the beginning stages of a total eclipse, depending on what is happening nationally. The area of the event is widespread across a major metropolitan area, a region, multiple states, or even the entire nation. There's usually a failure of the supply chain. Stores are closed and empty, and utilities may be interrupted, as we just seen in my case. Duration of the event is from several weeks to months before law and order, utilities, and municipal government is restored. Life may never return to normal, though. And think about that, man. It don't take long for the lights to cut off for your house to start looking crazy.
Right.
You ever been in a storm or something? After about 3 days, your house don't even look like the same house. Imagine several weeks. So
years.
That's it. You must protect yourself and your loved ones from attack and theft, as well as serve as your own deterrent to crime. Like we said, you got to police yourself. Law enforcement may be actively hostile and committing crimes themselves. We talked about this. The police, the gangs, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go running to the police if you see them. Militias may disguise themselves as National Guards. So be wary of any strangers, no matter their uniform or demeanor. You may see me in a state troop outfit when the time comes. You better watch yourself. Expect greater threats, more aggressive criminals. I would never impersonate a police officer. I just want to say that. Expect greater threats, more aggressive criminals, and people who would ordinarily break the law to commit crimes. Personal safety threat shifts from large rioting mobs or hyper-specific incidents against individuals or their home businesses to pervasive and random attacks, usually of opportunity on a soft target. You're looking for plates. That's basically what it is. If you're looking like a plate, you're going to be served up.
Right.
Burglaries, that sounded real cool, I'm sorry. Burglaries, home invasions, robberies, carjackings, looting, theft, and assaults occur at a higher rate than before. Patrol your block or neighborhood and be alert for surreptitious or aggressive burglaries and home invasions. Typical disaster and long-term emergency supplies and preparations are needed. This is where being a prepper is a huge advantage. Have a sufficient store of food, water, and necessities for at least 3 months. If you're unable to do so, buy as much as you can. Have redundant means of communication. We always say in survival, if you got one, you got none, and you need at least 3 ways to do everything. So redundant means of communication, radios, hand signals, bird calls, etc. We talked about hand signals before, and a way to generate your own electricity, like a generator or a solar panel, something. Be mentally prepared to survive on your own without government help for a long time. Evacuate to a safer location if possible. Already have one in mind if you an alternate place. Activate your neighborhood manual defense group if you have created one already, or at least coordinate defense securities with anyone who is not evacuated. Make sure all neighbors have a way to call each other for help. Someone preferably 2 people need to be on security watch at all times, including patrolling the immediate area to keep an eye out for people who may be sneaking in to do bad things. Barricade your street, but be mindful that neighbors may still need to come and go. Consider a night only total closure of the street to vehicle traffic. Remember, when boarding up windows, that you may need daylight or ventilation if utilities are absent or marginal. Carry tools at all times. Rifles and handguns should be at least at hand if you have them. Wear tactical gear at least when you are on patrol, if not all the time. As far as possible, keep your home secured. Burglaries are common when windows are left open in warm weather, for example. If you're in Atlanta, you know that. Make your home look like an unappealing target rather than a high-tech, hard target like you have something to protect. Think crappy salvaged boards over the window versus some sort of a purchasing some high-tech defense. Let your landscape go unkept. And think about it, because if you look like if you got all this high-tech security, we're gonna scope you out. I'm saying the people who are looking around the neighborhood, like what they got to protect.
And just know you should be a hard target, just don't look like one.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Bingo. That's why I hide these muscles.
Right.
It's fun when you talk about the yard being unkempt. One of the tips that my dad gave me once when looking for a car to buy is to go to lots that have let their landscaping go a little bit, because that lets you know that they need the money a little bit more, because the most important thing to them is how they look. So if they're not getting their yard kept up, that means that they don't really have the money to do it. So certain little things like that let you know. So really, that's not what, in this situation, it's the opposite. But you're still playing on the visuals, that people have. So, or that people use.
I'm glad you brought that up. I love when we do this sinking thing, this reminder thing. It's just we don't even know. Real quick, this is a hack, and I'm going to forget, so I'm going to tell you now. Not a hack, but one of the things that I learned through trial and error is to put my utilities in a business name. The reason I learned to do that when things were really tough is because I learned this from having a restaurant. When I had to put my utilities in a business name, and I realized, the cutoff 30-day thing isn't the same for businesses. They don't cut you off like they cut you off if you have it in a personal name. They give you, instead of like the 1 month and then the next month you get cut off after that, it's like 90 more days. They want to keep you on because they know you're going to be there. They know you probably in a long-term lease. So they want to work with you because they know you're going to be there, and they know if you end up with another company or something, just make it harder for them. So that's a benefit of it. Another benefit of it is if times get rough and you end up owing a couple $1,000s or whatever on your bill and you got to let it go, well, it's in the business name. It's not in your name. So do it that as you will. And, because you never know how time's going to get. So anyway.
Yeah, bro.
Take serious precautions to conceal any supplies that you have. Do not let anyone, not even a neighbor, know you're riding out the storm comfortably, if you are. Criminals may target you for robbery, and even a friend, when desperate, could turn against you. An example of this is generator theft in the South after a hurricane. Yeah, you may not know who took that generator from you, buddy. Listen, maybe your grandma might have got you for that one. So challenge intruders. If they claim to live in the neighborhood, make them identify themselves to your satisfaction, like Bob talked about this earlier. If they cannot prove they belong there, that's when you get on some old LA gangster. I need to know where who your grandma is and everything before you come up in here.
Or your mama
if they can't prove they belong, send them on their way. Consider having someone snap a photo of them for later identification. Let's say like the corner store when they have the fake 20s. Put them on blast.
And remember, this is for short-term, near without rule of law.
Right. Remember what this is for. If you must get physical with someone to encourage them to leave, physically restrain them and walk them out of the area. For persons engaging in criminal activity who refuse to leave, if you're able to apprehend them, use handcuffs or zip ties, then drive them far away and drop them off a cliff. I mean,
A bridge.
drop them
Now,
off the curb.
if you don't have a car or traffic is, the roads are all blocked off, which is often the case, you got to take them away.
Eat them.
That's all. Well, no, we ain't eating the folk.
Sorry.
You ain't eating the folk.
Wow. Vegan's cold, boy. So no, you got them handcuffed and zip tied. If you have them handcuffed, get your handcuffs back. That's all I got to say on that.
All right.
And they don't get to come back. They don't get to come back to your spot.
No, sir.
That's all I'll say on that. And one thing to think about, even if you drive them 10 miles away, if they link up with other folks and they tell them where you at and these people got a lot of stuff, now a whole nother army could be coming for your shit.
So with that being said,
take that the way you will. I'll just say this. This is for folks that's not trained, so I know your mind isn't going to work a certain way or can't take certain things. But for those who know me, and you know who I'm talking to out there, I love you, but if you come and don't have something that can add to our survival and it's taken away from the other folks' stuff, I can't let you walk away and you know where we're at and you know we got shit. That's what, anybody, they don't necessarily live here. They can live other places. A lot of people know me. If you tell me off of line, hey, I was in the chat and I know y'all got stuff, I said, okay, cool. What do you have to add to the pot? Oh, I ain't got none. I got a can of spinach. I can't just say go on about your long head. You put us in a position that I didn't want to be in. So now we got to take you in and you're taking from us. We're going to take you in. That's all I'll say. Okay, continue.
Hey, so, and for those of you who think outside the box, if you got somebody and you have to take somebody's committed a crime or something in your neighborhood and you got to take them out somewhere and drop them off, just make sure that they're not able to lead anybody back to your location. However you figure that out.
It happens for you.
Yeah.
There's a show. Is it called C? Where these people were blind. It's hard for them to move around. So, watch C and, watch Saw.
There you go. All right. So,
shows like that.
Most persons looking to assault or steal will be deterred by a neighbor's presence, especially by an armed neighbor. However, be prepared for a desperate or deranged person who escalates the situation to violence. This is where pepper spray, maybe, sharp tools, impact tools, or firearms are handy.
We talked about the pepper gel before also.
Yes.
So, yeah. Just look in the pepper gel. All right. So also, or long-term WROL role.
That's anarchy.
I'm sorry.
That's anarchy, straight anarchy.
Which is anarchy. This is a reversion to a world in which the only rule is survival of the fittest. This would likely be caused by a civil war or full-scale economic collapse.
Can you believe I used to want this at one time? I can't believe I used to want this as a kid.
A lot of people did because they are just seeing it as a reset.
Yeah, I just even at like 18, 19, I was with all this shit would just
Right.
It it's a reset, but there's a lot of price.
Yeah,
you don't realize how tough it's going to be.
What direction things are going to go in.
Well, we don't think about. Me and BD was just talking about this, one of the instructors. What we don't think about enough is that power not cutting on. We don't think about that, how that power not cutting on. You think it's gonna cut back on, and things go when that power don't cut on, and you got to restructure things. It changes. It changes how you're gonna move. It changes everything.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't. I think it was the second Planet of the Apes movies, the new ones that came out. The second one,
wait for the new one,
where they fought the humans, or I guess they fight the humans each time. But this was like one where it was like interim.
They formed armies of apes.
Right. And they were talking about in a very chilling, very realistic way about how things reverted once they lost electricity, and how they never wanted things to go back to the way things were. And that was one of the big themes in the movie. One of the big conflicts was that they were trying to get this plant going. That's why they had to keep going into the apes territory, because they were trying to get this electricity plant going so that they could get the grid back online, because of how horrible things just went awry when there was just no electricity.
People don't realize what that would feel like. I started getting older and like, is it another way? Goddamn.
Right.
You got to be able to deal with it and ready to deal with it, but you can't want it. I mean, you can, but that's not what I want. I don't want that shit.
Absolutely. So be prepared for extreme circumstances that will lead you to do things you ordinarily wouldn't in order to survive. You and your family will eat while the kids next door starve to death after you have killed their father for stealing vegetables from your garden.
Damn.
How best to survive? Excuse me?
No, just cold-blooded.
Yeah, bro. How best to survive is a waking nightmare, which is marked by total disorganization and disintegration of the normal social order caused by disaster or war. Ordinary commercial, private, and government services are out of business. Utilities, transportation, and communications have been interrupted. Day-to-day life is a survival situation where the final outcome has a high probability of death. The situation is at least regional, with very limited chances of escape. Local intervention is not possible. The National Guard isn't coming to save you. In fact, no one is coming to save you. Morality will go out the window for many people, and horrific things will be done, such as selling children for food, the reinstitution of chattel slavery, and cannibalism. Killing will be among the first answers to interpersonal difficulties and criminality.
I just want to say none of that stuff ever left. It's just going to be widespread.
Right.
Yeah, Bo. I think about like killing being part of resolving criminality, also maiming. You know, like we think about how we hear stories about in the Middle Ages and different times people having their hands or fingers cut off for stealing. Like that's a very realistic thing, because if you're taking from someone, then you are almost killing them. You know, you're saying that it's more important for you to eat than the person who the things actually belong to. So
that's how
think about that.
That's how my uncle told me one day. This dude ain't pay me. I used to cut trees, and this guy didn't pay me. And I called my uncle, the only dude I knew with his own business at the time, family. And I knew he was shot out, as much of my family is. And so I asked him, what should I do, man? Dude ain't pay me. It's like, yo, he ain't pay you. You need to call him up and say, man, you trying to kill me? You want me to die? I said, what you talking about? Uncle said, hey man, if everybody do what he do, then you can't eat, you can't feed your daughter, y'all both die. So he trying to kill you. He trying to kill your daughter. I was like, whoa. He said, that's how I look at it. You ain't gonna kill my daughter. I'm gonna go. Oh, see, some people take it like that. So real quick.
RBG, hold on, RBG Guapo.
I want to answer that, Baba.
Okay, go ahead.
I was about to answer that. So if you might be new to the show, but for everybody, and this is hard for a person of my ego to admit, but I'm going to do this right now live. I hope not too many people are watching this particular second. or seconds. But if you have watched any of our shows, anytime that we are reading, anytime we have read, and how many shows we've done, I don't know how many we've got. Everything we've read has came from the mind of myself. No, of Baba Balagoon Ojintade. He has
Unless
all
I'm
of
reading,
this,
I write my own stuff.
he writes everything that we reading. I be wanting to take credit. I want y'all to think that I'm the intelligent person that's saying all of this stuff. I embody it afterwards. I keep all the notes and I study them. Some of the stuff I knew because he's already taught me. I'm gonna say I don't know what percentage, but a great percentage of it I've been taught already. But it's still good to have it concentrated.
All of this actually comes from
his book,
our USBI classes, and the books on survival I've written.
Right.
And some he ain't probably written yet, and some probably he never gonna write.
Yeah, bro.
That's
great name, RBG Guapo by great name.
If we ever start sounding really ignorant, I took over. All right, go ahead.
No, that'd be crazy. No.
But yeah, Bob was a very accomplished writer, so check out his books.
For him to do this, I just got to say, man, for him to come up with this the way he does, on top of all the all right, go ahead. I ain't about to give you too much praise. Your birthday did just pass, so you deserve it.
Happy belated birthday, Baba.
I didn't know Baba's birthday was just Wednesday that just passed.
Wednesday.
One of the most accomplished people I've ever met in person.
We're blessed to have him every day.
It's such a blessing, like I said, to have somebody like this in your life. I would be blessed if I was just knowing him from Warrior class, but I have the distinct great pleasure of knowing him in my personal life. You should be very jealous. Favor is not fair, as the Christians say. So it is what it is. But hey, man, I don't know how you do it, Baba. We appreciate you. I don't know how you come up with all this material while you're writing books, coming up with movie scripts, teaching class, being a priest, all trying to take care of yourself, being a father of 700 children. Jesus, man, you do a lot, man. You do a lot. So thank you.
Well, I'm just to be honest, I'm just thankful to be able to do what I do and just share what I've learned over half a century. I just turned 56 Wednesday, as they were saying it was my birthday. For 52 of those, I've been training every day except when I'm sick. And that's training on martial arts, survival, writing. So that's why I'm able to do what I do, because it's just experience. I know how to do it. And one of the students, Bakine, asked me years ago, how am I able to bring out books quickly? Because I get an idea. I start writing notes. And this idea came in 2006. I go through those notes. Some stuff I've lost because I've lost several computers blowing up and shit like that. And I often wonder, why do my computers keep blowing up? But anyway.
You go to hotels, people try to take your script.
Man, they tried to do that in Virginia. That's true. But I look, 2008. Oh, that's interesting. How does it apply today? Then I start updating. Yeah, it may sit there. Then 2020. Okay. This applies because I was talking about this, but now with COVID, this applies now. So I was asked to bring out Surviving the Urban Apocalypse Book 2. That came from notes I already had, but the notes was so dealing with global pandemic. But at the time, we were in a global pandemic, and they only let me bring that book out digitally. They would not allow it physically. And when I went to
That's Amazon, big if you think about what he's saying.
When I went to protest, well, not protest, but to appeal, they were angry. I said, I didn't know you own Amazon. What? Why are you so angry? We're talking about, I'm not angry. It's my work. It's my intellectual property. I want out to the people, the people in prison, and people who don't have the internet, they can get it. You're not gonna get it in print. It's not happening. You understand? I mean, going off.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't happen, right? So you can only get book 2 digitally. Just know that stuff was done, but I thought I was slick and wasn't slick. I named the sickness that destroyed the world surviving the urban apocalypse. So the apocalypse in the second book was caused by this disease called DARONA, Dorona. And I said, this is not the C virus, C19. It's not that. I said, it's Dorona. It's like, it's not happening, sir. They wouldn't even entertain me. I'm trying to be funny. They not.
Dorona, Valona, no.
Right.
Sir.
And so they wouldn't allow it. So bring your own stuff out if you can. We need our own platforms too. But anyway, go ahead.
They're on Amazon, as he just mentioned. He's talking about a physical bookstore in Baltimore. You can find Baba's books on Amazon. And Team Orca, he is actually a Pisces, but he's on the cusp of Aquarius. So
I'm a Pisces. February 21st.
I put his name on there, and so you could copy paste it too. It should be up there.
All right, so I'm going to wind it back a little bit. Morality will go out the window for many people, and horrific things will be done, such as selling children for food, the reinstitution of chattel slavery, and cannibalism. Killing will be among the first answers to interpersonal difficulties and criminality. Predators will exploit the situation for their gain or to satisfy their perversions. Obtaining food, water, and medical care will be impossible, very expensive, or extremely difficult. Power will be exercised by force, and people will pledge support to whoever can take over and provide safety, supplies, or just won't hurt them. Stockpile years' worth of food and supplies. Identify alternative sources of water and have various means of collecting and purifying water. Invest in serious firearms and tactical training. Make permanent modifications to your home, such as barring or boarding up windows and adding bulletproof materials. If you can, I honestly don't know if this is realistic, but I think that it probably is. Make modifications to your home that you don't have listed anywhere, that no one knows about. If you can do, certain things to your home where you can make hiding spaces, where you can maybe make an alternative living space, try something like that. Reading over this made me think of the show, what is the mushroom zombie? I'm talking about the
Last of Us.
The Last of Us, where there's a very special episode where a lot of special things happen. But one is there's this guy he's a prepper, and everything falls down. It's this, mushroom zombie apocalypse. And, the military comes, clears out his neighborhood and everything. And he just basically goes underground into a space in his home that's not on the blueprints. And he is able to stay there for months until everything is cleared out. And then once everything in his neighborhood cleared out, no one is thinking about coming back or anything, then his work begins. He goes and starts putting up fences and growing food and different things like that. Ideally, that would be a great scenario. It may not necessarily be 100% realistic, but it's definitely something that we can aspire to.
Yes.
It made me think of two things. The one is, I think it was the show Fargo, where at the end, when they're having the shootout at the sheriff's house, how he has one of those old houses that has a lot of hidden spaces within the walls. There's a lot of old houses made like that. And also the second thing it made me think about was Jackie Chan's house. A lot of people don't know Jackie Chan bought an old warehouse. And so you don't know the plans of his house at all, except when it was originally bought as that old warehouse. And he actually, his thing was having so many secret passages, doors, and walkways. His house is designed to just be magical, where you just pop up one way, here this way, disappear and stuff like that. Like, if you got the money to invest, do what you can, you know.
Well, terrifyingly enough, there's a singer, first name R.
Oh Lord.
Last name Kelly. He bought a church for the same reason, but when I think about it, that's more insidious.
Right.
Right. And you made me think about, we forget when he said people to live out their fetishes and they whatever
Perversions.
we forget, man. We have, because we think we are we think we hip to it. We think we see what's going on, but we have normal people, or people that's not on the dark web, or have anybody that can actually tell you things that's really going on the web that you don't see. Remember, we're just on the tip of the iceberg. It's all is down here. You have no idea. You know about murderers, you know serial killers, but they don't even tell you about the sickest details of all the things that people are out here doing. And if they could do that openly,
right.
And the people with money that keep their stuff secret. Oh my goodness, man! I hate to think of
not just money. Be careful. I'm gonna let you get back to it.
Well, I say money. The reason I mention money is because with the money, now in this world, you're able to do a lot more to cover yourself up sometimes.
Yes, but there are people skilled with no money. There's a serial rapist in our neighborhood. He's raping little boys, and we all knew it, but couldn't prove nothing. Well, I know a little boy who went down and he lived in his basement apartment. And the people continued to let him stay in the basement. It was crazy. But he invited the boy down in the basement. I saw this myself. I'm like, hey, man. I was about to say the little boy's name. I won't. The dude's name who's doing his name is Wesley. I don't remember Wesley's last name. He invited the boy, said, hey, don't go down there. Now, I'm about 12 myself. In fact, I know I was 12 because I remember what I did after. So he was like, but he got candy. I said, no, I'll buy you some candy. He said, nah. He went down there. I went to his sister's. I went to the mama first. She just kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, just ignored me. I went to his sister's. And they're like, well, can you do something? I said, well, I don't think so. He in there now. So they went down, they beating on the door and all that. And he would not let that boy out until he had done what he did. And the boy come out crying with a bag of candy. So he's crying, but he's happy he got candy. And I decided then he'll never do this again. So it was a 16-year-old dude named Tommy. And I'm naming you Tommy because you weren't a hero, but you kept me from doing fully what I was going to do. I'll just say I knocked on the door. Tommy was hiding. He thought we were just going to harass him. I hit Wesley in the head with a, and I'm telling this because Wesley died, but not from this, okay? I hit Wesley in the head with a shovel. He went down. So Tommy was like, oh, damn, we better go. I said, not yet. I put the shovel on his neck. You know how you step on the shovel to put it in the dirt? Someone was just telling me. So I jumped on it, boom, into his neck. Blood's coming. And Tommy grabbed me. Now, my best friend Andy, his brother, Tommy, it wasn't him. It was his brother from the neighborhood, and really didn't see Tommy no more. I'm like, damn, was Tommy a spirit? He grabbed me and pulled me off and pulled me out of there. Closed the door, and Wesley just there with the goddamn shovel in his neck. I didn't care. I was saving the people from this bastard. So he pulled me out, closed the door, said, man, you crazy? You gonna bring me down? You gonna kill him? What's wrong with you? He pushed me against the wall. I said, he deserved to die. He said, but goddamn it, not by our hand. Let somebody else handle. Let some parent handle his ass, not us. He said, I'm 15 and you goddamn 12. This can't be our life, our history. And he pulled me away from there. He said, we don't talk about this no more. Okay. Obviously, somebody found Wesley. His ass was living. I saw him. And I'm like, oh, shit, what's going to happen? And he said, what you did. You know that was wrong. I said, no, it was right.
Oh, no, who he going to tell?
I just didn't do it right. I said, if it's wrong, tell the police, Wesley. I knew his ass couldn't call the police.
It's only wrong because he survived. That's what made it wrong.
I'm going to get you if I get a chance to. You never get that chance because I ain't coming down to your house with no candy. And I thought about it. I said, I should go down there and do it. But see, if I'm in his house, I don't know how his house look. I don't know what he could have me set then. I'm done. So I wouldn't do it. And I wasn't that bold at that age to try it anyway. I did him right there in his little foyer in the basement.
Scary to think about what they used to do in some of these places and what they used to do in some of these plantations is just.
But what I'm saying, this is a poor black dude like us, and he got away with it until he died from AIDS. And when he died from AIDS, I was friends with his sister. She never knew, and she watching this show. Pudding, I'm not sorry for what I did. And I didn't kill your brother. He died from AIDS. He went from being 400 pounds to dying at 90 pounds. And when we found out he was dead, the first thing out of my mouth, and I may be wrong, but I said, that's what he deserved. That's what he deserved. You got it about the weight of the children you were raping. Yeah. And so when we talk about perversions and the things that are going on and that's going to come out when it's no rule of law, when we've been down for a long time,
right?
People are going to be like, give me your child and I'll give you this food. And some people are going to do that and it's not going to be a unique circumstance. Several people are going to do that. I always tell people, have your supplies so you aren't tempted to do something that is wrong, horrific, because you want to survive, because your stomach will turn you into a liar. You can sit here and say you wouldn't do this, but if your stomach is turning in on itself and eating you, most of you really don't know what you'll do.
Absolutely.
Most of you don't even know the goddamn train with the tools you have, so you don't know what you're going to do. But not because you don't know, we don't know. So don't try to bring your ass to us and stay with us. And I can't even not look at you around my daughters.
Right.
Because you may not just try to rape them, you may actually try to eat them.
Right.
That's what we're dealing with.
Most of us ain't never been hungry before. We don't really know what hunger feels like.
I'm talking starvation. Starvation. When people eat rats, when people eat feces, when people drink urine, you would never do that or think to do that on a normal basis. But when you're starving, when you have nothing to drink, and it's so bad your mouth is splitting.
Now imagine that person finding out where you stay at, you seeing them, and you come outside, you got a weapon, but the look in your eyes is, I ain't never used this weapon.
Right.
I hate to try to use this weapon. I'm scared to use this weapon, but you got all the loudness. You loud instead of like you should be. Get off of my property. It's written on your face.
It's funny that you say that. I have a friend who
right behind you. Get away from my daughters.
Right. I have a friend who is who's sovereign. And that's one of the discussions that I have been having with her, that you don't have anything that you can't defend. There's no food that you have, there's no property that you have that you can't defend, because at any point someone can come and take it. You can stockpile all you want to. If you can't defend it, it's not yours. Someone can come along and take it at any time.
They can take you.
Right. And
I know
you, up to you.
We might be going a little long, so I just want to say this real quick. For all my paperwork posses out here, understand it may be very valid. It may work. So
absolutely,
you may put this paperwork in and they don't knock at your door. They don't.
Right.
Okay. That ain't stopping. So they ain't them. Them still coming for you. They might not knock. Okay, you won that battle. That ain't the war.
Man, understand this.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
These people with these old 1980s thoughts, I said it back then. These people ain't wars. They can't fight their way out of a goddamn paper bag. Look, man, you give a person even an order of protection. This has happened to people. A woman give a man an order of protection. Well, that works against a law-abiding citizen. Right. If my wife gave me an order of protection, I don't know why that would have to happen, but that would hurt me. I'm not going near her once I have that. But there have been women have given them that shit, and they found the women dead. This is literally, you can look this up, dead with the goddamn order of protection stuffed in her mouth. Because this motherfucker was coming for you. He don't care about no goddamn law. He don't care about, I don't care about the law, but I'm law abiding as well. I'm not going to break no law unless I have to.
Right. Let me try to make
these people don't care. So don't all this in the law they can't do. You're talking about lawless people who do whatever the fuck they want to do. So you best be prepared for people who would do whatever they want to do to you. You best be prepared to protect yourself. If you're not, you get done. You're like Belay said, you're a plate, and motherfuckers gonna eat. You're a plate of goddamn soul food. And motherfuckers gonna eat. And then they gonna sleep just like when motherfuckers eat all that soul food and they get tired and sleepy. They gonna sleep, but they gonna sleep well in your shit.
That's what I was gonna say. They gonna be sleeping in your bed.
We see the behavior right now.
With your wife next to them.
So you get a governor a vote against. So you got the governors here. They voted against being able to clear off an acre of wilderness to take all the trees away, right? That's illegal. You can't clear a lot. You have to get all type of sanctioned arborists to come and say that it was dying trees. You just can't wipe trees off of the land, right? The governor voted for that. That same governor hires a company to ignore that law and clear off a lot for him so he can put a business there. That company, they broke the law and said, okay, we'll pay $500,000 fine because we're getting paid $20 million to do this job. Right. That's the reasoning that they have. That's the governor that voted to not, that's a green governor. Don't fuck up the land. We're going to keep these trees. He hired a company to go right. He don't give a fuck. So if y'all don't, I don't think people understand this paperwork thing, what it really means, because I was wrapped up in paperwork too. And I'm not saying don't do it, but understand what it really means. Do what you're going to do. Like love who you're going to love till you can't. Do all the paperwork you can till you can't, if you're a paperwork person. But understand that ain't got nothing to do with your physical self-protection. And we needed that quick break real quick for somebody out there.
Yeah, bro, absolutely.
Hope you appreciate it because we're running late for you, just so you can get there.
Right. Invest in serious firearms and tactical training. Make permanent modifications to your home, such as barring or boarding up windows and adding bulletproof materials. Consolidate all relatives into a single home or adjacent homes. The more eyes and ears looking out, the better. Create a defensive team from reliable and well-prepared neighbors. If you have a mutual assistance group in other parts of the town, consider moving into the same neighborhood, even if this means taking over abandoned homes.
Yeah, well.
Barricade the street and restrict all entry to those who live there restrict all entry to those who live there and only by verified guests. Only their verified guests, Use force to keep anyone else out. No one else has business on your street and could be a spy, thief, or saboteur. Never leave children, the sick, disabled, or elderly persons alone. Make your neighborhood look unappealing with poor landscaping and poor superficial maintenance. Don't look like you have anything worth stealing. Look like ragtag survivors, not people who planned for this. Understand that you may need to do things that violate your innate sense of charity or fair play, but don't be evil. Don't commit or allow atrocities and punish whoever commits them. Deploy your armed neighborhood watch around the clock. Make sure that anyone watching you sees that you are on the lookout for them. If someone is threatening you and demanding goods or services, do not give in, no matter what. Politely refuse demands from interlopers or refugees that want goods or services. The same goes for persons in authority if authority is meaningless. Do not give in or admit strangers. Have the people in arms to back up your refusal.
Now, and the people in arms, the people is key, because being a lone wolf only works in the movies.
Yeah, bro.
Your neighborhood, or at least your family, and a couple of other like-minded families will have to act as a team to survive. Lone wolves usually die alone in the forest.
Yeah, bro.
That's true about real wolves. Okay, they're societal creatures. They end up dying if they're alone in the forest. You alone by yourself, or even with your typical 4-person household, won't last. You can't be alert all the time. Having a team allows everyone to get some rest, relax, and attend to chores. If you are alone, there will be no one to help you if you are sick or injured.
Yeah, bro.
Can your spouse handle foraging for food, the chores, tending to your wounds, all while keeping watch and running off bad guys? Is your teenager physically able to drag you to medical care? A family alone will have a bad time and not going to survive. One of the reasons why we formed USPI, when I was talking to Kalanji, is our family's separate. They're not going to make it if shit falls down. But together and with other families, we can make it, man.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. A group, like a family, gives you a mutual drive to protect and survive. Each member of a group draws strength from one another and helps share the physical and mental burden of survival. When we survive, we're inside. We're sleeping in tents inside. You say, what? If they have rooms, you may be able to use that. But if not, because you need that veneer of, I have a safe space. Okay. Neighbors are united by their homes. Each has their family and their property to protect, which can create a sense of teamwork and purpose where there may not have been one. For those who intentionally want to create a mutual defense group, finding persons with the desire, requisite skills, and discretion to participate within your own neighborhood will be difficult. Let's be honest. Few of us know our neighbors. If I ask most of you are out there, name me 5 houses on your block that you know the people. I can say, name me 2. Name me 1. Okay. You may be able to do that. Knocking on doors, introducing yourself to random strangers, and bringing up the topics in this episode, even in the most vague, diplomatic way possible, is a non-starter.
Yeah, bro.
You're talking to people, say, hey, stuff fall down. Can we get together and, we join on, we fight mud, we kill some motherfuckers if they trying to come in your house. That's a hell of a conversation.
Right. With a stranger.
Right, with a stranger. It will get you pegged as a weirdo or potentially some sort of domestic terrorist if you talk to the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people will have any interest in or concept of teaming up to survive. The most likely scenario is that no one will participate or team up until it all falls down. So those who are ready, I know in this neighborhood here, oh boy, I can get mud. But see, in my neighborhood, most of the people here are former police or judges. I don't really want to fuck with them like that. I don't want them in my business. Shit, when B-Lay's bringing me home after the episode, Mud's watching me. They watching us, me mugging us. You're muted, comrade. They pull up on us out of nowhere. Just crazy. A brother was dropping off one of my daughters here. One of the brothers, they followed them in here.
Every time, too. Can you hear me?
Every time. Yeah, we hear you.
Every time.
Yes. So, and I'm like, is this person neighborhood watch? Because now every rip, they on us. So, the most likely is when it falls down, when people are scared and looking to defend, they will then start asking each other what to do. This is your moment to act and organize. Forming a defensive group will not seem strange when danger is at the door and everyone is looking for a solution. Okay.
Yeah, Bob.
That, I think, is how you're going to build your group. Now, we built the group by forming the Urban Survival and Preparedness Institute. When we were coming with the name, I said let's name it Institute, not association, organization. So people think it's just a training school. I'm already known for martial arts school. This allows certain things to happen. There were people around me when I first started teaching survival before we had USPI to certain people in our group called the ELA, our spiritual group. I didn't know Balagoon had all this skill set. His skill set is broad. My skill set is one thing, survival. So that's martial arts, firearms, knives, sticks, goddamn foraging plants, finding water, purifying water. It's anything that's dealing with being able to survive. So martial arts goes hand in hand with that. Even the writing.
Yeah, Bob.
Because I have to deliver what I learned to people.
You can say health too.
Make it to the school. So the writing allows me to be able to teach the masses. So that is what my whole life has been, right? You have to see it as one thing. And that's for you all. Whatever skill you have, be creative. Go outside the box. Be able to teach. And some people not, and everybody shouldn't know that everything you know until you want them to.
Right. And that'll make you valuable to your group also.
Right. So we talked about that in one of our classes. Shit, if somebody get taken, I use my own son. I said, if somebody takes our day, if he was grown, he wasn't grown, he grown now, but he wasn't grown then. I said, and they take me, my wife, a couple of y'all would be willing to risk it all to go to get our day, but most wouldn't. They got their own families, right? But if I'm taken, I actually have more value. If somebody is a pilot and we stand up on the mountaintop and the only way we can get down to pilot, we can't let that motherfucker get taken or killed.
You can take Bobby. We need the pilot.
Right. I'll be right back.
No, but go ahead.
I was going to say, this is something that I noticed, especially after learning from Baba, something that we all have probably, especially if you live like in the South and you kind of go through rural areas sometimes. I noticed that I would drive and I would see like a business that was located on some acreage of land. And behind the business, I would see like 2 or 3 houses kind of spread out. And, that never really registered with me before. But I started to realize that, those houses are the people whoever owns that business. That's a family that has, kind of set up their whole family in that area. First, they have the business, which if you think about it, tactically, that's off of the main road. So that's the first thing that someone who comes in is going to come up against is that business. Then you have the families that are further back on the property, their houses, they're spaced out, but close enough together. You know what I'm saying? That all of that stuff is something that people have thought about. And it wasn't something that occurred to me until Baba started to teach us about, about self-protection as far as, or about survival, I will say.
I learned about that by having a tree service, going to people's, not just having a tree service, but advertising with AOK 1380, because I was part of a Black business network and got a lot of business in the, from Black people, my own people when I moved here. So I went to South Fulton, where it is the blackest county, I think, in Georgia now. But what you'll find there, first of all, is country folks. Second of all, what you'll find is 3 hot houses on a lot, sharing electricity, water, things of that nature. It's a whole different type of thing going on down there. And at first I was like, oh, this is some old backwoods, and then I have to start paying attention. Oh, they getting it. This is the smartest thing you could be doing.
Absolutely.
It's totally intelligent. And like you said, they may have what would have been a little hardware store that is no longer functioning because Walmart then moved 5 miles up the street. So now it's just abandoned little thing, but that's what you would see. They have some type of little business, paint shop, tackle bait, whatever they got going on, and they got 4 or 5 houses on 2 acres. You know what I'm saying? And everything right there. So
now, and this is the last thing I'll say before we close out. For those, the majority of us stay in the cities. When things fall down, those in the cities, it's gonna be more Purge-like than those not in the cities. Okay, but don't think if you're not in the city, you're just safe. I've lived in the middle of Atlanta. I've lived in Atlanta off, further west, but still in Atlanta. And when I say Atlanta, I'm not talking about no suburbs. We live in Atlanta. Our second house, and we ain't balling. I'm just letting you know, our second house is in Atlanta, the city.
Ballish. It sounds ballish.
No, it's not. It's not. So that house, because we have to make sure both houses are defended and have supplies. That's expensive. Our house in Atlanta, we Airbnb it, okay? But, and I've thought about this. Number one, the people who stay there, they can't get to, they don't even know that their survival supply is there. But if we're in Atlanta and have to get there, or some of you all is closer to get there, the responsibility, if somebody's staying Airbnb overnight, they got to go. These are things that we're forced to do. Now, shit done fell down. You think them people going to want to leave?
Right.
They don't even know that the survival stuff is there. If they did, they certainly wouldn't leave. They don't even want to leave, so they'll have to be forced to leave. Or we have to evaluate would they be valuable to our survival. There's this movie about stuff falling down. Remember, and this black family, they went, and a white family was Airbnb in their house. Same thing. And I thought about that shit. I told my wife, "Oh my God, this is us." But see, I'm not gonna be like, "Well, y'all can go ahead and stay unless they're valuable." And if they being rude, talking about, "Is this really your house?" They getting the fuck out.
Right, immediately.
And I would get to the point to say, "Well, whether it's our house or not, you don't know, but you're about to leave." That you're about to do. We told you it's ours, but you don't believe it, doesn't matter. You're going to leave this house. So, because I know I can't work with them now. They talking like that.
Right.
There's no working with them. There's no. So, those kind of things. Like when people hit my wife up about, I want to stay in a place, this and that. The way they speak, I say, no, dear. Because she looks to me for the security aspect of it, right? No, they can't.
Oh, was that me?
No, that'd be funny if that was you like that. I still be like, nope, it can't be. So, just know that for those who are trained, prepare your mind for shit even now, because there's certain things you're gonna have to face even early on.
Right.
I was
that you
thinking
don't want to face. We got a lake behind this house here. There are people now be coming having picnics on it and shit.
Straight in your yard.
When they come to our side of the property, because they can go to other folks, the white folks across from us. I don't care if they don't say nothing. I ran the white folks across from us. They were on our dock. I said, hey, you can't be here. This boy gonna say to me, like 19 or whatever. I'm boy to me. I said, you can't be here, son. You can fall off the dock. That's liable. I got that from my wife. She said, just tell him this, because that's not to get the fuck up out of here off our property. He said, I'm on here all the time. I said, what? And my wife grabbed my arm, like, babe, let me get it.
Please.
Because then I was gonna just grab his ass, like, look, you can either go off this dock here, or you can go off the dock down here and get the fuck off my property. But my wife said, I got it. She said, look, you're gonna have to leave now. If you don't leave right now, then I let my husband have it. Well, she said, have you, like shit. And I'm waiting. He said, okay, he got his shit up. He looked at me like, shit, I don't know the way that dude looking. He got his shit packed up, left. Because they would fish off of everybody's docks before we moved. That ain't happening. And when we bought the place, the dude told us he didn't like it, but he was too scared to do anything. Hey, they come around here to everybody's property, and they like to come over here. We got like the fish bite good here. They like to come over. I said, well, that stops now. And they ain't been here, but people who don't know from the area, they'll come and do a picnic. This one couple, they doing like a loving picnic. They putting up tents and shit. I said, I'm gonna wait till they tent is up because they on our side. I'm gonna wait.
What?
They got the whole tent up. I waited till all that shit's out and they relax. I went out there. You got to move this now. That's all no negotiation. They trying to, we're doing this for our anniversary. You got to move this now.
What you just said about the owner saying he didn't like it, but he didn't say nothing.
Right. Say what?
What you were saying about the owner not liking it, but he didn't say nothing. We talk about that all the time when it comes to safety, how we compromise our safety to be polite.
The social contract.
You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. And another thing that's made me think about.
But it's good practice for a person like that, Baba. That's what I meant.
Well, it could be practice for several. It could be practice for them to see how I respond. It's always practice for me.
Right.
Because I'm like, shit, okay, well, if this is a grid down situation, how will I handle this?
Yeah,
it also made me think about how we need to do, but that video they got of Michael Myers, the Michael Myers mask when people trying to get in their door.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's real important video for people to take a look at and maybe even try it because it seems so simple. All you got to do is take the key, put it in your door. You can run, and the person behind you is just walking. And you should have plenty of time to gain the pleasure of opening your door and being safe. But that threat of that pain behind you, that's a good training exercise to see how many seconds you could do that same thing in 5 seconds. But the threat of pain get behind you, and all of a sudden you need 30 seconds to do something you need 5 seconds to do. That's the importance of training, of going through something in a situation where you're uncomfortable, and the stress and duress that we always talk about for new people who never heard us speak on that.
They know we do a zombie thing, and you know what? Let's do that next week. We do a zombie exercise where, and we'll get other students in, right? People just walking towards you with their hands extended. And you got to intelligently move around them, right? Move through them, whatever it is. They coming, you push their hands, they got to turn, and they turn right back. It feels like, it could be 4 people, it feels like 100.
Yeah, bomb.
Let's train you all to be nervous.
You're nervous as hell, and you'll start seeing people just running around the circle, and they running because fear has taken them. So they're outside of the exercise now.
Great drill.
So that's a drill you can do. Like, oh, and we'll do that next week so you can see. And the episode will be on fear. Ooh. Because fear, it has to be technical because you can't overcome, well, really it's worry, but you can't overcome worry without physical training. You cannot.
And we talked about, we basically kind of did that too a little bit. We
did the difference between fear and worry.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
We dealt with the mental aspect, didn't show the physical techniques that could break that. Right. I talked earlier about
the flip. Yeah, we did a little bit of that.
Face punches. That's one way. The zombie drills another, and I'll give another exercise. And so we're gonna start chipping away at what people call fear, but it's really worry. Fear we want. That's our signal against great bodily harm, right, or impending death.
You don't want fearless warriors. You don't want that. That's not.
No,
what
you want worryless warriors.
Not fearless.
So worry is the fear we manufacture. You want that gone, and these exercises are going to get rid of that for you all. So we'll do that next week. Thank you all for joining us. This was a good episode.
I know what I was saying. I'm sorry. I just wanted to circle back to one thing that they were talking about in the chat that we never went back to. Bule mentioned it about the best shoes to wear. You just consult Baba's books on that, but also think about the kind of shoes that you'll be wearing in a survival scenario, not necessarily the most comfortable sneakers or the highest rated sneakers or whatever. Think about the kind of shoes you'll realistically be wearing in a situation like that. That's all I wanted to say.
And let me say this for the armchair karate men, the karate men and kung fu men who don't know shit about self-defense, because they're different.
And definitely not survival.
And definitely not. And you're telling people, train in a skirt and heels. And then that makes you ready. It does not make you ready. That makes you train in a skirt and heels. To get a person ready, you tell them don't be goddamn wearing those skirt and heels in no grid down purge situation.
Yeah, bro.
Because if you are, you're foolish. You're going to get torn up. There's a man who wears skirt and heels and puts nails on, and he says he's teaching women how to defend themselves. Dude just likes dressing up like that.
Right.
Because I teach women how to punch if they got nails, how to move in heels. I ain't got to put that shit on. And the one thing I can tell you, like I told my daughter, one of my daughters only wanted to wear heels at one time. I said, oh, no, hell no. Next time in class, next time you come to class, put some gym shoes on. Because you're not saying to me you're ready in them heels. Because if you are, stop this. Boom, pushing the shoulder. Just push her shoulder, she's falling down. You're ready if you're expecting it. But when I push you and you weren't expecting that, now you're falling in the heels like anybody else will fall in those heels.
One common thing I can say, I'm sorry, Bob.
Real quick, wear them. If you want to go out and look nice in heels, if you think that's looking nice, wear them. But get ready to take them bad boys off and have you some gym shoes or boots better in your car.
Right.
Sit all down.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. One thing I will tell you what you want in your shoe is you want strings. That's one thing across the board that people dealing with survival can agree with. You want shoes that lace up. It's going to be the most effective shoe in maneuvering that you can get is a shoe that actually laces. You don't want nothing to slip on.
And lace, we'll do an episode on shoes.
Yeah, bro.
Right. I already know where you want to go at. I know where you want to go at.
Laces can be used for self-defense to get you out of certain situations too, but we'll
talk about that
later. We'll deal with that later. Just so you know, and that's not rhetoric. We've actually done this.
Yeah.
Where you can escape from bondages with shoelaces.
The right shoelaces.
Yeah, and in my boots, I have unbreakable shoelaces specifically for that goddamn reason. Just so
And
you
I
know.
got what 50? What I got? I got
Paracord, 50
Yep.
paracord, yes.
Mhm.
550 paracord, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, and that for the same reason, but you could use the regular shoelaces too.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna get torn up after,
Right.
you know, but you can get out of certain situations. All right, y'all. This was a long one, the longest one we ever done.
Believe so.
It is most
All
important
right,
one.
but it's I mean, you know, where it seems like it's gonna be something trivial because we're talking about the purge, but the purge is real.
Yeah,
It's
bone.
already started. If you don't know,
Right, exactly. So love y'all. Be safe out there. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Peace.
Peace.
A bad mofo can fight in heels. I bet they can't.
If
All right.
they have to, they will.
I'll never be a
If they
bad
have to,
mofo.
You don't want
I'll
to
never
be.
fully be a bad mofo then.
yeah, they're a mofo, not a bad mofo. Bad mofo kick those heels off, put them boots on, and ready
Think
to go.
about the fact that the purge has already started in your mind and in the minds of people who dismiss this information. Like that's why they're dismissing it. They've been trained to do that.
Right, exactly. Or mistrained or however.
Right.
All right, y'all.
You're very
Peace.
welcome.
We will
Peace,
see
y'all.
y'all next week. Make
Love you,
sure to mash the like button, subscribe, share this with others.
Donate.
Those you love, maybe those you hate. I don't know, however you want to do it. Because they live in your neighborhood, you may have to rely on them.
That's important.
Y'all can do a neighborhood watch party. That may be one way to reach folks. You know, and if they say, well, I think I can take that old dude. Well, you know, don't give them my number. Just, you know, we're here in Atlanta, always training, so we ain't running from nobody.
This is a real conversation, man.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, very much so. So, y'all be safe out there, and you know, see you next week in the trenches.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Stay chiseled, as Baba would say.
Stay chiseled. Yes.
Peace.
Peace.
Don't get addicted to licorice.
Licorice.